Times of London. Stephen Payne was asked to arrange meetings in Washington for an exiled former Central Asian president in exchange for a donation of up to $750,000. Wheeling and dealing like this may seem shady, but apparently it's legal. CNN's Ed Henry joins us now live from the White House. Sure wouldn't be legal here, Ed.
Well, Kira, Stephen Payne himself, in a statement to CNN and some emails involved in this case that he's turned over to CNN, suggests he realized that it actually could be perceived to be bribery if, in fact, there were official actions exchanged for these hefty donations to the Bush Library. And Mr. Payne insists to CNN that he believes this is gotcha journalism. Let's tell you what actually happened. As you noted, secretly recorded videotape by the Times of London, sort of a sting operation. Basically, Stephen Payne, a one-time Bush fundraiser, he raised about $200,000 in the 2004 re-election campaign, and a lobbyist based in Houston basically says he can deliver meetings with Vice President Cheney, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, in exchange for major donations to the Bush Library, which is still being built in Dallas. Take a listen. The audio is not perfect. It's a web video that's on the website of the Times of London.
Not a huge amount, but enough to show how serious a couple of dollars. I think that would probably get the attention of the people raising money. Cheney's possible, only the National Security Advisor, definitely either Dr. Rice or I think meeting with Dr. Rice.
Now, the White House denounced Stephen Payne's actions here, and Dana Perino, when asked her about it at the daily White House briefing, basically suggested he was acting alone here. Take a listen.
There's categorically no link between any official business and the Bush Library. Steve Payne was never an employee of the White House, but we do use hundreds of volunteers a year, as you know, for helping us do advance work. And of course, I don't know all of the facts about that situation, but we certainly would not advocate for such behavior.
So what Dana Perino is admitting there, at the very least at the end, is that Stephen Payne has done some volunteer, I stress volunteer, advance work, basically logistical work in helping to set up foreign trips for President Bush and Vice President Cheney. It's also worth noting that when you go to the website of the Department of Homeland Security, Stephen Payne serves on an advisory committee for the Secretary, Michael Chertoff, there. In a long written statement to CNN, though, Stephen Payne admitted that he did mention in these conversations that donations could be possible to think tanks, foundations, and/or President Bush's library. But he insisted that in these subsequent emails that CNN now has, he made clear, quote, there could be no quid pro quo between those donations and any official actions by the White House. Interesting as well, I pressed Dana Perino on whether they would release any visitor logs here at the White House to show whether Stephen Payne has brought any of his clients to the White House. She said she would consult with White House lawyers, but I think it's highly unlikely they would turn over those records. There's been litigation, as she herself noted, in previous cases about White House visitor logs. So it's going to be very hard to pin down whether he brought any clients here, Kira.
All right, leave it to you to hold him accountable. Ed Henry live at the White House. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Well, there's much more on that story coming up at the top of the hour of CNN's The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer. Now, North Carolina police are holding a press conference right now, hopefully to shed some light on the death of an Army nurse. Fayetteville Chief of Police Brookville is speaking. Let's go ahead and listen in.
And the Onslow County Sheriff's Office, who informed us of an unidentified body which was found in a remote location near Steves Ferry, North Carolina. Detectives redirected themselves and responded to that location. Upon arrival, our detectives were informed that a citizen who was in the area came across a body, and he immediately reported it to the officials of Onslow County Sheriff's Office. Our detectives requested assistance from NCIS and State Bureau of Investigation agents to secure the scene for further processing. Fayetteville Police Department detectives then drove to Camp Lejeune, arrested John Patrick Wymack and Kyle Alden, who were brought back to Fayetteville for further processing. As the investigation continued today, our detectives developed probable cause to additionally charge John Wymack with first-degree murder and Kyle Alden with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder for the death of Holly Wymack. Both Wymack and Alden are now in the Cumberland County Detention Center being held under no bond. With respects to the unidentified body, after forensics investigators processed that scene, where the body was found. The body will be sent to the North Carolina State Medical Examiner's Office in Chapel Hill for an autopsy to determine a positive identification and cause of death. With regards to this investigation, I need to let you folks know this case is still ongoing, and our folks need to do a great more deal of work. Therefore, in an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation and not to jeopardize the criminal prosecution of any pending charges, after today's press conference, we will not discuss any further details of the investigation. We have been in contact with Holly Wymack's family throughout this entire investigation and will continue to do so until the investigation is concluded. In closing, I would like to thank all the agencies that assisted us during this investigation and will continue to assist us until a successful conclusion. Those agencies, once again, are the State Bureau of Investigation, Naval Investigative Services, Fort Bragg CID, Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearm, key officials at Fort Bragg Public Affairs Office and Camp Lejeune Public Affairs Office. Also, I would like to convey our appreciation to the various media sources here today for their patience with us during this high-profile case. The combination of work done by all who had part in this investigation has been proven that dedicated teamwork, spirit of cooperation, and focus results in success. I am very proud of the work of these folks standing behind me, our detectives, these agencies that helped us out, and they just really worked hard and have done a fantastic job. At this time, we will take 10 minutes to entertain any questions you might have. Again, I would like to thank all the media correspondents for your patience, your cooperation during this investigation. Your part in this has also contributed to the success of this investigation.
Chief, what
Time on you.
I'm sorry.
Time on you.
Okay. You had an opportunity at this point to interview the suspects in the case. Have you been able to come with any motive from what they've been talking to you about?
At this point, the motive we would not really want to discuss.
Do you believe Holly Wymack was killed here in Fayetteville?
Chris, come on up.
Detective Locklear. This is Detective Locklear, lead investigator in the case. He's assigned to the Fayetteville Police Department's homicide unit. I'm Sergeant Chris Corcione, and I run the Fayetteville Police Homicide Unit. Jeff Locklear.
Yeah.
In response to that question, I think we can say with a great amount of certainty that she was killed here in Fayetteville. Yes, sir.
Do you have a cause of death on that?
At this point, we do not. Again, that'll be something that the medical examiner will have to give us. And again, we still do not have a positive identification on the body that was found in Onslow County. We need to make sure that we're clear with that. That's an issue that the medical examiner is going to have to resolve for us.
Can you talk about the state of the body?
Obviously, it would be unrecognizable, okay? And let's just leave it at that. I mean, if she was in such a condition that we could have identified her visibly, then we would have done so and given you that today. But that she's where we couldn't. It's going to be a medical examiner issue.
Did you say because she was burned, or because there was other things done to her body that would not be able to let you identify?
Okay, that's something we'd like to hold close. We're talking about these issues about the investigation. At this point, I think that's one of the things we'd like to kind of hold close. So we're going to.
Can you give any explanation as to why the apartment was burned in the first place?
I mean, it's hard to explain why people do what they do. That's the investigation, was unfolding. We're learning different things. We have a lot of interviews that we have left to do. We're only in, the third or fourth day of this thing. And at this point, I couldn't say.
One could only assume that it was a
Who
attempt.
killed this Army nurse, Holly Wymack? Well, North Carolina police believe they have their man now. Chief Tom Bergemine with the Fayetteville North County Police Department just announcing that they are pushing forward with first-degree murder charges against Wymock's husband. Her charred remains were found yesterday, and then 2 Camp Lejeune Marines were under arrest. One was her estranged husband, Marine Corporal John Patrick Wymock, along with Marine Lance Corporal Kyle Alden. Now we are being told, or we are learning from the police chief, her estranged husband will be charged with first-degree murder. The other Marine, Lance Corporal Kyle Alden, with arson. We'll follow this investigation as we get more information. If you want to go to CNN.com and watch this entire news conference that's taking place, you can do that as it's streaming live right now. Well, no matter where you deposit your paycheck, no matter where you take out your mortgage, you're asking some troubling questions today. Will Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac need your money to stay afloat? Does the IndyMac Bank bust signal a dangerous trend? Will the cost of fuel keep on rising? Well, President Bush thinks it will, and he just sent a message to Congress. Investors are watching it all, and so are we. Let's get straight to Susan Lesovich to see how investors are doing on Wall Street. They're grappling with all of this. She's standing by live at the New York Stock Exchange. Hey, Susan.
It's another tough day on Wall Street, Kira. It's as simple as that. You know, the government's lifeline over the weekend was, of course, meant to shore up Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac financially, but just as importantly, it was meant to calm down investors. After all, a run on IndyMac last week led to its failure. Initially, Wall Street cheered Uncle Sam's measures. We had triple-digit gains at the open, but they quickly evaporated. Lots of second guessing today about the government's measures to keep Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac afloat. Both have lost about 3/4 of their market value this year, and with less than an hour to go in the trading session, Fannie Mae shares are right now up 2%. Freddie Mac is under pressure. Its shares are down 3%. So the crisis of confidence on Wall Street is still present. Fannie and Freddie are critical to the functioning of the mortgage market, and if they stumble, it would have a ripple effect on the entire economy. One analyst pointing out the government can't bail out the entire industry. So no surprise that trading is tense today. The Dow Industrials have been negative for some time now, right now down 68 points, or about 2/3%. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, is down 30 points, or about 1 1/3%. Financials getting slammed across the board, from big investment firms to smaller regional banks. National City shares are down 15%, and it's battling bankruptcy fears. Savings and loan giant Washington Mutual sliding 35%. Confidence, Kira, could be shaken further this week when financial companies report their second quarter earnings. The estimate for the sector, a 73% decline in profits after even bigger losses in the previous 2 quarters. A lot to think about. Kira, back to you.
Indeed. Susan, thanks. We were thinking a lot about on Friday when IndyMac Bank went bust, and today it's open again under government management and a slightly different name. It's now IndyMac Federal Bank, and customers are at the door. Let's get straight to Pasadena, California, and Cara Finstrom.
Well, you can see the doors to the bank behind me here. The FDIC has been letting in people 10 at a time, and those people have lots of questions. So it's been a long wait for people in these very long lines. I want to pan around here and give you a look at the crowds that have really continued to grow here throughout the morning. At least 300 people are in these lines. We estimate the lines actually stretch around the side of the bank, and these folks waiting quite a bit of time. One of the messages the FDIC is trying to get out to the majority of its customers who have less than $100,000 saved here is that the money will be here whether you come today, tomorrow, or next week. But those customers still have questions because there are a lot of complications here. And Mary here has been waiting quite a while this morning. You did get an answer to your question. You have an insured amount, but tell us what your question was and the answer you got.
Okay. The answer I got from the FDI representative was that if I had under 100,000 and it was really insured, but my question was, am I going to get the interest that they said I would get, and would it last as long as the CD maturity was? And the man said yes from FDIC, that would be okay. I could leave it there. I could get my interest that I set the CD up for, and then also, you know, I could pull it out, too, if I wanted to.
Well, Mary, we're glad you got some of the answers you were looking for here today. Again, long lines, expected to be a very long day with people here just trying to get some answers. Cara Finstrom for CNN, Pasadena, California.
And here's some facts just to put it all into perspective. IndyMac is the 5th bank to fail so far this year. Compare that to 3 years ago, or to 3 last year, rather, and none in the 2 years prior to that. In 2002, 11 banks and thrifts failed, but that pales in comparison to the savings and loan debacle of the late 1980s. In 1988, near the end of the S&L crisis, 190 institutions failed at a cost of about $98 billion. The crisis cost taxpayers around $132 billion. Now, IndyMac is the second largest failure in terms of assets. In 1984, Chicago's Continental Illinois National Bank and Trust failed with assets of $40 billion. IndyMac had $32 billion in assets. Your money, your concerns. Be sure to check out CNNMoney.com for in-depth coverage and analysis. And every day at noon Eastern, it's issue number 1 with Ali Velshi and Jerry Willis. That's right here on CNN. And ahead here in the CNN Newsroom, the housing market in the dumps, some banks in the danger zone. How in the world did we get here? We're going to try and break it down for you straight ahead in this hour. And Barack and Michelle Obama depicted as terrorists. Is this magazine cover just satire or tasteless and offensive? We'll take a closer look at the uproar that it's causing. And it's a list you wouldn't want to be on. The government's rundown of who it thinks might be a terrorist has ballooned, and the ACLU isn't happy about it. You're watching CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Saturday and Sunday night, CNN and Essence Magazine present Soledad O'Brien with Black Leaders, the problems, the solutions, reclaiming the dream. CNN, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
Who says Gordon Smith helped lead the fight for better gas mileage and a cleaner environment? Barack Obama. He joined with Gordon and broke through a 20-year deadlock to pass new laws which increase gas mileage for automobiles. Governor Ted Kulongoski praised their bipartisan partnership on this critical issue. Gordon Smith, bipartisan leadership for energy independence.
I'm Gordon Smith, and I approve working together across party lines. And this ad.
Every day I hear about moving stress. You've got to transfer your water, electric, gas, and of course, move your furniture. But now there's one part that's a whole lot simpler. Call Comcast and ask for the Cable Mover hotline or call 1-866-596-0426 to get connected in your new home. Then watch HGTV's House Hunters and peek inside 3 homes weeknights at 10. HGTV and Comcast make life and moving a little easier.
We've come to this island, and you'll never believe what we found. The internet. Seems it can't hide here either. Simply insert the AT&T laptop connect card and you're connected at mobile broadband speeds. Email business proposals, access your customer database, all on the go. I'm Bill Curtis, and I've just found the internet.
The internet can't hide anymore. Switch to the network with the best coverage and get the AT&T Laptop Connect card for free.
Who wants to be stranded with a flat tire? Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry. Well, I guess I'll be on my way.
Bridgestone. Run flat tires.
Bridgestone.
Nearly 400,000 in Texas.
More than 250,000 in California.
From the Aloha State of Hawaii
to the Free State of Maryland.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. The PPA buses, sponsored by America's pharmaceutical research companies, have been to all 50 states, helping nearly 5 million people who are uninsured and struggling.
Call 1-888-4PPA now.
Tell a trained specialist the names of your medicines.
You could get them for free or nearly free.
Because America's pharmaceutical research companies want to help.
We've learned the Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama plans to meet next week with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. A Palestinian official tells CNN the meeting will be next Wednesday in the West Bank. Obama is also expected to stop in Israel, but those details are still being worked out. And we're waiting for Republican John McCain to address the National Council of La Raza. They're having a convention in San Diego. That's one of the nation's most prominent Latino groups, by the way. The speech is scheduled for 3:45 Eastern. We'll have live coverage as soon as it gets underway. We'll talk about a cover story. The Obama campaign isn't laughing at the cartoon on the cover of the current New Yorker magazine. It depicts Obama and his wife in the Oval Office. The new apparent president is dressed in Muslim attire. Mrs. Obama sports an afro and a machine gun, and an American flag is burning in the fireplace. A picture of Osama bin Laden hangs on the wall. Well, the magazine says it's satire, but an Obama spokesman says it's tasteless and offensive. Earlier in the newsroom, we heard two different views. Councilman, you actually just called for a boycott of the magazine. Tell me why you are so outraged about this cover.
I think it's outrageous that we'd have a cover that would depict racism, sexism, anti-religion, also anti-patriotism, and then on top of it, to try to draw a conclusion that Mr. Obama has some sympathy towards terrorism. And all of those are depicted in this magazine cover with no explanation, and with the thought that as people try to justify it, that maybe they'll read the story and get a different perspective, or that the everyday person understands satire. I think it's something that's outrageous, well over the top, and is totally unnecessary, particularly in this time and this date.
Now, Shelley, satire is supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be thought-provoking, it's supposed to be clever. Do you see this as over the top?
Absolutely not. Kira, this is interesting to me. The New Yorker is not a news magazine. The New Yorker, and since 1925, it's been a high-minded, journalistic, literary publication. Nothing in their description calls it a news magazine. So if Time or Newsweek did something like this, I'd be right on the side with Mr. Parks. But this is the New Yorker. E.B. White has come out of here. John Cheever, countless authors have come out of this magazine. And so I think what they did, it absolutely shows what this cover shows exactly what the article is about. I would say if you're going to boycott...
Wait a minute, there's my question. This cover doesn't demonstrate what the article is about. Have you read
exactly
the article?
Right.
The article, it talks about how he put together his campaign, how he picks his mentors, how he sort of rose to the position.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the article on the politics of fear? Isn't that what this is all about? Isn't that what the cover is supposed to depict? What the politics of fear is all about. If we're going to boycott the New Yorker, then I say I would just as well go down to Rainbow Push headquarters and boycott Rainbow Push for what Jesse Jackson said.
If I see this magazine cover, okay,
right.
and I mean, this is pretty racial. I mean, let's look at it again. You've got Michelle Obama in an afro.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got, her husband, Barack Obama, in a turban. We're talking about racism and terrorism. I mean, these are and burning of the flag. I mean, these are the most sensitive issues in our country right now. If I see that, I'm going to think, oh my God, is this who we want in the White House?
But do you really? Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that if you see this article or this cover, excuse me, you're going to say to yourself, oh, this is Barack? This is crazy to me. This is satire. It's just no one was this outraged when someone had painted a cartoon of Condoleezza Rice as a pregnant black woman who had delivering a monkey as a baby. No one said anything. I didn't see the likes of Mr. Parks wanting to boycott that magazine that ran that cartoon. So this is satire. And so anybody that looks at a drawing of a cartoon and wants to say this is what my presidential candidate is going to be like, it's already ridiculous. It shouldn't be voting. They're retarded.
Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point of the fact that this magazine will be in newsstands across this country and internationally. No one is going to read the article to the fine point that you've just discussed it. It will leave the image and the impression of what the cover reflects. And for those who have those racist tendencies, those that already have those sexist tendencies.
They're not going to vote for Barack Obama anyway. So if they're not going to vote for him anyway,
what has Michelle Obama done? What has Michelle Obama done in her life? What has Michelle Obama done in her life that would allow you to depict her in fatigues, a bandolier, and a machine gun on a cover of a magazine?
Ask the people.
There is absolutely nothing.
Ask the people.
She's never quoted a word, stated a word, or persona in any way close to what's depicted on this magazine.
Ask the people
so satire would not even have a place here.
Ask the people who are pushing that message about Michelle and Barack Obama. That's who they're talking about when they draw a satirical cartoon. I mean, I don't think there's anybody walking around today that will see a cartoon drawn like that on the cover of the New Yorker, by the way, not Time, not Newsweek, the New Yorker, which is a literary journal of commentary, social commentary, reporting, and so forth. No one's going to walk by that and say, oh, wow, I knew that about Barack Obama was true. Now that I see it on the New Yorker. If that happens, they weren't going to vote for him anyway.
This magazine cover
Let me ask you
hits
a
at
question.
the lowest level of people's thought
Okay,
processes.
Councilman, let me pose this. And Councilman, I'll start with you. I've known you for a long time. You've broken a lot of barriers as a black professional, being a police officer, the chief of the LAPD. Now you're in the political arena. Do you think in any way that this cover sets us back, that it's more divisive than anything else, and only proves that we're still pretty racially insensitive?
Well, I think what it does is that it forgets that the eye of the beholder is the one that sets the judgment. It's not those who did the printing, it's those who receive the message. And I think it does set us back, because every now and then when you get something like this, you have to go back and look at the calendar and realize it's 2008 and we've just taken a major step back to where this wouldn't be acceptable decades ago. The fact is, today you have more people that will speak out on it, but it wasn't acceptable in decades ago when people were going through many, many other issues that dealt with racism, sexism. So it's certainly not appropriate today.
Shelley, there's definitely a risk when you lampoon ignorance. That is for sure. Not everyone's going to get it. Give me the final thought.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying, if we're going to be politically correct on satire, then what is the definition of satire? If you're going to knock down what's something that's clearly satirical, then where do we go from here? Now we have nothing out there. And I would say to Mr. Parks, if we're going to be set back, then we need to be as outraged at Jesse Jackson's comments last week, because that set us back 150 years, back to the days of lynching, and because he said it doesn't take away from the fact that it set us back almost 150 years.
I don't think it's a benefit no matter who does the harm. And I think
fair enough.
No one
but
has
there's no
seen,
harm in this. There's
anyone
no harm
supporting
in this
Jesse Jackson. And I think what we need to do is find out how many people out of 10 understand what satire is, and look at it in the face of what it is. It's a picture that depicts what could be the first couple of the United States in a very derogatory manner, and brings up all of the fears and anger which drives people to the worst conclusions they can come up with.
And gentlemen,
I think that's totally inappropriate.
And if nobody knows what satire is, they shouldn't be voting.
But Shelley,
that's
my final point, is that when you lampoon ignorance, you know, not everybody is going to get it, and it's risky. It's a definite risk.
That's what satire is. That's the definition of satire.
And we all appreciate it. Well, a spokesperson for John McCain's campaign says that he agrees with the Obama campaign that the cartoon is tasteless and offensive. The next hour in the Situation Room, Wolf Blitzer will talk with the New Yorker's editor about that cover and the debate that it's ignited. Well, straight ahead, you can't get more American than Budweiser beer, right? Wrong. Big brewery changes ahead in the CNN Newsroom.
Who's that? Oh yeah, that's me before I lost 41 pounds on Nutrisystem. See ya!
With the all-new Nutrisystem Advanced program, you can eat great and lose weight on our best weight loss program ever.
I know I'm not your average gal. I love sports. Football. How many girls could do that?
The all-new program that lets you eat carbs, is heart healthy, and even helps fight hunger.
I got this body eating pizza, burgers, even chocolate.
Through this special offer, you can get an extra 3 weeks of meals free. For about $10 a day, you'll enjoy 4 weeks of perfectly portioned meals delivered right to your door. And your shipping is free.
But I love Nutrisystem because it's easy and it works. It's as simple as that.
See how Nutrisystem can change your body. And you can get a full 3 weeks of food absolutely free.
Get Nutrisystem and score.
Call now, 877-532-SIZE, and find out how you can get 3 weeks absolutely free.
Larry King tonight. Jesse Ventura exclusive. Will he run for the U.S. Senate or not? He's made his decision and announces it first and only on Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
CNN Soledad O'Brien, a year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
If your bike won't start, try changing the spark plug.
你忙吗？请你给我股价单。对，但是我不懂。
Hey, on peut penser trop, qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Go there.
Ok, on y va.
Welcome to a network where video changes everything. Cisco, welcome to the Human Network.
It's the most heartwarming product placement movie of the year.
Rachel, you know what your problem is. You want everything. You want a husband, you want unlimited text, unlimited data, and unlimited calls.
Instinct, only from Sprint.
Someone got an email.
Featuring lightning-fast internet, voice-cued GPS navigation, and starring the Simply Everything plan from Sprint.
Why wouldn't I want everything for just $99.99 a month? Maybe you're afraid to be in love.
The new Samsung Instinct, only on the Now Network.
I think I'm falling in love. It's a challenge. For the phone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips, live in New York, and you're in the CNN Newsroom. Right now, it's 3:29 Eastern Time, and here's some of the stories we're working on. A Fort Bragg soldier killed, her Marine husband now facing murder charges. And just minutes ago, police in Fayetteville, North Carolina, announced that they've charged Corporal John Wymuck in the death of his wife, Holly. The two had been going through a divorce, and another Marine faces conspiracy charges. It's meant as satire, but Barack Obama isn't laughing. His campaign is lashing out at a New Yorker magazine cover, and it appears to portray Obama and his wife as terrorists. The magazine says it's to spoof obvious misconceptions that some people have about the couple. And John McCain reaching out to a prominent voting bloc this hour, waiting for him to speak to the National Council of La Raza in San Diego. That's one of the nation's most prominent Latino groups. So are you on the list? The government's terrorist watch list, that is. It's swelled to about 1 million names, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. The group is marking that milestone with scathing criticism of national security policy. It's calling for better controls on the list, including tight criteria for adding names and more rights to challenge being added.
The watch list, now with over 1 million records, or soon to be there, is so bloated as to be ineffective at best, likely useless, and perhaps even harmful, by creating its own security weaknesses. The list is unfair to travelers, unfair to law-abiding Americans, and unfair to the security screeners who have to work in this ridiculous system.
And just this month, President Bush signed a bill that removes Nelson Mandela from that watch list. Mandela, of course, is the former South African president and Nobel laureate. Well, hundreds more airline workers are being told that they don't have a job. Midwest Airlines says it's cutting 40% of its workforce, about 1,200 employees in a variety of departments. The company says that it's notifying affected workers today. This is the latest, by the way, in a string of layoffs across the industry prompted by the soaring fuel costs. This buds for who? Anheuser-Busch is the latest American icon facing foreign ownership. The maker of Budweiser has agreed to a $52 billion takeover bid by Belgian brewer InBev, which says that it'll keep Anheuser-Busch's North American breweries open. If shareholders and regulators okay the deal, it would create the world's largest brewer with the name Anheuser-Busch InBev. Beers such as Beck's, Stella, Rolling Rock, Bud Light, they're all under its banner. The housing market in the dumps, some banks in the danger zone. How in the world did we ever get here? We're going to try and break it down for you. Stay with us.
My doctor told me something I never knew. As we get older, our bodies become less able to absorb calcium. He recommended Citracal. It's a different kind of calcium, calcium citrate, with vitamin D for unsurpassed absorption to nourish your bones.
Lower price, higher price. Which one would you prefer? With price assurance only for Morbits, if another customer books the same flight at a lower price, we'll automatically send you the difference in cash. Simple arithmetic, Orbit style.
CNN, July 23rd and 24th.
All of America will get a good picture of what it's like to be black in this country.
It amazes me is how far I've come from the old neighborhood.
I'll open up my mouth and people will be like, whoa, you're speaking really well.
There's this perception that if I'm married to a white guy that I maybe behave a certain way.
Then we got too many babies daddies and not enough fathers.
We need to tell the whole range of our story.
An unprecedented CNN investigation, Black in America, July 23rd and 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
License, registration, and insurance.
Something wrong, officer?
And your AARP card.
Yeah, here you go. Is there a problem?
Sure is. You belong to AARP, but you don't have their auto insurance from the Hartford. With this insurance, you're spending way too much.
Oh, but I'm already getting a good deal from my insurance company.
Is there a program designed for drivers age 50 and over?
Somebody does that?
Yep, AARP. Their auto insurance program could save you money and give you benefits you'll rarely find anywhere else. If I were you, I'd call them now.
Millions of AARP members have already called about the AARP auto insurance program. They're saving $350 when they switch, and you can too. Just call this number now and ask for your free rate quote. You'll enjoy special benefits created exclusively for AARP members. Not an AARP member? Not a problem. Give us a call.
Call 1-800-556-5701. You'll also get this free calculator. Call now.
The mortgage crisis, the banking scare, is your money under siege from a perfect storm of bad news? Our Tony Harris examines how we even got to this point.
If you think about the good times, they were really, really good. Neighborhoods were expanding. It seemed like the whole nation was being reborn on this just wave of money, sweeping over everything. And it was very hard in the middle of that for anyone to say it's not going to continue forever.
Even adjusted for inflation, home prices increased on average by 80% between 1997 and 2006.
It was like a casino in the housing market. Prices just couldn't stop going up. The whole idea that suddenly everybody's house price could fall was, it seemed ludicrous.
Neighborhoods across America were a builder's dream, but there were early signs the foundation was cracking.
There were construction cranes everywhere, but at the same time, when we went into the neighborhoods, you would see for sale signs. You would see neighbors who were nervous.
After going up and up and up and up for years, just how far down and down and down are house prices going to fall?
That's how we understood that this whole thing was slowing down, that the demand for new homes at every price range was just softening up. That was the first thing. There were just too many. It was a supply and demand issue. There was too much out there.
The peak of the housing boom was in the summer of 2006. Median home prices hit about $230,000. I think the cracks in the foundation were already there.
The trend is a 30% drop in prices.
Oh my goodness. Are you saying the prices are going to drop 30%?
I think that's a ballpark number.
We have never in the history of the United States seen an economic downturn caused by or triggered by housing first. It's often something else. And housing then becomes a part of it because people lose their jobs or they can't afford to pay. So then the housing market comes down. But to see the housing market actually come in and start this, and now we see the effects of it.
At issue, not just the number of homes available, but now the mortgage market too. Lenders had been giving money to high-risk buyers with little to no money down. Those loans were often adjustable rate mortgages or ARMs, and when monthly payments went up, homeowners weren't able to pay up.
We should have went to the mom for a loan.
There were predatory lenders and people who were unethical in their sales approach. They simply just wanted to do even more. They just wanted to keep that gravy train going. So what you saw in many cases was a loosening of standards.
Subprime mortgage lender New Century Financial today filed for bankruptcy. The lender, which specialized in loans to people with poor credit, was overwhelmed by customer defaults.
New Century Financial was one of the big subprime lenders, and when it went into bankruptcy, that was like one of those depth charges in the sea. Kind of shook everybody, and everybody thought, oh, this is going to be a real problem.
More bad news, this ongoing crunch.
Mortgage market meltdown.
The moment of truth came last summer when you started to see these huge financial companies that were exposed. And finally, it was like you opened a vault and you saw all the skeletons in there.
Writing off $3.4 billion in loans.
One of the things that has just been, I think, mind-boggling, it continues to amaze me, is how is it that a small group of people with crummy credit could unhinge some of the biggest financial companies in the world.
There are 51 active listings. I would say 20 to 30 of those are foreclosures or bank-owned right now.
The bankers didn't seem to pay attention to the danger of people going into default. They figured they'd just take the property, or the person in default would sell their home. It was a fantastic plan until property values started to fall.
As home prices plummeted, oil prices soared because of rising global demand, and Americans felt the pinch.
So you actually ran out of gas trying to get here?
Never in my life have I seen gas this high. We can't drive, we can't heat our homes, we can't do business, nothing can be done without this energy.
When you go to fill up your car and it costs $50 instead of $20, you get it. And America got it. I think that when gas prices went up, that was the thing that, more than anything else, made all sorts of normal Americans coast to coast say, I understand something's happening with my economy that's not good for me.
It just got very loud here. Just moments before you came here, we took our third run at $100, and oil has now stayed above that level.
The average consumer, if there was no other source of income, or their income wasn't going up enough, they were getting squeezed all around, and that mortgage payment was getting bigger. Something had to give. And it's when you stop making that mortgage payment that the whole house of cards falls apart.
Yeah, it's a dry heat in Arizona, but the rain's still pretty wet. Weekend storms leave a bunch of cities swamped and a bunch of drivers stranded. And it's easy to forget about savings for retirement when flat screen TVs and other goodies can be bought with the simple swipe of a credit card. Christine Romans has some ways to trick yourself into saving that are right on your money.
To spend or not to spend? That's the question many of us ask ourselves every day. Money Magazine's Walter Updegrave says one way to save money is to trick yourself, like signing up for automatic investing plans.
The money comes out of your paycheck before you get a chance to get your hands on it and spend it.
And give yourself incentive to save.
Say that you set a savings goal, say $5,000 for the year. And you say to yourself, if I reach this goal, I'm going to give myself a reward. I'm going to buy myself an iPod, something like that.
If the carrot approach doesn't work, Updegrave says, try the stick.
Some people may operate better from fear of punishment than the promise of a reward. Now, it might be something, maybe you can't watch your favorite TV shows for a month, or maybe you can't eat out for a month, something like this. Something that's enough of a penalty where you don't want to incur it, so you have enough motivation to save.
Christine Romans, CNN, New York.
Right on Your Money is sponsored by the personal advisors of Ameriprise Financial. Go to cnn.com/rightonyourmoney to learn what's financially right for your lifestyle. And for more tips on managing your money, pick up any of these magazines on newsstands now.
So here you are, a little confused. Did you think the road to retirement was an expressway? Come on! You can't start this journey without knowing where you're going. You, my friend, you need a plan.
Have a question about whether your plan is in sync with an unsettled market? Ask an Ameriprise advisor. Call 1-877-AFI-4936 and find out why more people come to Ameriprise for financial planning than any other company.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
So I could understand it all. After I called,
I was able to choose the plan that was right for me.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you from paying thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. These are the only Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit with all you need to enroll. so you can join the millions of people who've already trusted us for their Medicare supplement insurance. Plus, we'll send you this free guide to understanding Medicare.
The prices are competitive. I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
And I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call now to get the free information kit. Plus, we'll include this free Medicare guide. And the advantages don't end there. You can choose from a wide range of plans that are all competitively priced, so you can find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. There are virtually no claim forms to fill out. And best of all, they're the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP.
When they told me these plans were endorsed by AARP,
I had only one thing to say. Sign me up.
Call now, 1-800-495-9137. Let us help you choose the right plan. So call now, 1-800-495-9137, and find out about an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting for your call.
Closed captioning hours provided by Lennox. Innovation never felt so good. Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Larry King Wednesday night, Venus Williams, the Wimbledon champion, in her first exclusive interview since defeating her sister Serena. Venus Williams on Larry King Live, CNN Wednesday night, 9 Eastern.
With the FDA still trying to find the cause of that big salmonella scare, you might find it tough to find fresh jalapeno peppers. Imports from Mexico have slowed now that inspectors are testing jalapeno and serrano peppers and cilantro. Peppers are suspects in the salmonella outbreak that earlier was linked to tomatoes. More than 1,000 people in the U.S. got sick. And weather's proving a mixed blessing in California. High humidity and rain helped with some of the state's wildfires, but a couple places are seeing floods and mudslides. In one community, dozens of homes were damaged by a slide as wide as 3 football fields. A county over, some firefighters were stranded when flash floods washed out the roads. And parts of Arizona also getting drenched. Traffic came to a standstill here after flash floods swamped U.S. Route 60 in Tempe. Some drivers were stuck for hours. In Tucson, thousands of people were stuck in the dark when storms knocked out their power poles. And no relief for the valley. It's raining there right now, right, Chad Myers?
Certainly is. Rain all the way from about Flagstaff, even a few showers not that far from Las Vegas, and then into New Mexico and West Texas as well. I have a live shot out of Phoenix here. I don't know what we're seeing. I didn't get a look preview it, but there we go. KTVK, our affiliate there in Phoenix, Arizona. A little bit steamy. This is monsoon season. Everybody says it's a dry heat. Guess what? When monsoons start, it's no longer a dry heat. It's just darn hot. And that's what you have today. Humidity in the air, showers will be popping up. Already a few showers north of the city right now, but nothing that's making too much flooding in urban areas. It's kind of out in the wildland areas. Tropical Storm Bertha, although right now there's a hurricane watch for Bermuda, because look, this thing really has increased in intensity in the past few hours. A lot more color involved here, and the Hurricane Hunter aircraft did pick up a 70-knot wind. Now that's flight level. That's about a 70-mile-per-hour wind down at the ground. Tropical Storm Bertha kind of spins around for a while. Could become a hurricane again. Not out of the question, but for right now, we'll just keep it right at that same strength. Now, another storm, possibly, that we're watching, could be Cristobal, if you will. That's the Spanish pronunciation of this storm, Cristobal. And it is spinning here. Now, the islands, there's Venezuela, Florida way up there to the north. We'll keep watching it, though, because the forecast is for, at least the computers, taking it into the Caribbean, although not really developing it into too much. Kira.
Chad, thanks.
Sure.
Staying fit just when some folks were getting creative, the law steps in. Why you won't be whittling down your waistline like this in one Tennessee town.
Happiness is fat money. The pudgier, the portlier, the porkier, the better. Until August 15th, get an even chunkier rate of 3.50% APY. That's 9 times the national savings average. And watch your money get fatter with HSBCDirect.com. Open an online savings account and say goodbye to skinny savings. Brought to you by HSBC, the world's local bank.
Okay, let's do it. Stand by, Wolf. Stand by, everyone. Come to me. Here's my thing. Cue. Music. Hold. Straight to you, Wolf. Hold together on track, go.
2 different homeowners needed cash. They both used the equity in their homes. But that's where the similarity ends. The Andersons took out a home loan. It took a long time. Banks are skittish nowadays. The Johnsons didn't want a loan, so they got a Rex agreement. It's not a loan. So the Johnsons didn't deal with lenders. The Andersons got the cash they needed, but now they make monthly payments with interest on their loan. The Johnsons got the cash they needed, but they make no monthly payments and there's no interest. Want to get cash out of your home? Get a Rex agreement with no monthly payments or interest. You could receive up to $100,000 or more now by agreeing to share a portion of the change in your home's value when you sell. It's been written up in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal as a fresh, no-loan approach to getting cash out of your home. Go to rexagreement.com to learn more, or call now for your free DVD that explains it all. Call 1-800-790-8552.
If you've got one of these, you probably use these to keep them healthy. But why? When you can get these. They're exactly the same brand name medications, but these cost a lot less because they're from 1-800-PET-MEDS. With 1-800-PET-MEDS, you save a trip to the vet too, because they're delivered free, right to your door, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Millions of pet owners trust 1-800-PET-MEDS for fast service, free shipping, and big savings. Call now or order online from 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy.
You are definitely going to want to tune in to the next episode of PD Exposed as we feature the magical island of Oahu. Yeah, we're here right now. Featuring world-class restaurants, hotels, magical island tunes, and a lot more. Find PD Exposed on Comcast On Demand under local programs. PD Exposed is brought to you by All About Hawaii, Starwood Hotels and Resorts, and Hawaiian Airlines. Look for great package pricing at allabouthawaii.com or ask your travel agent for an All About Hawaii package today.
Essence Magazine presents Reclaiming the Dream, CNN, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
Well, NATO is calling the defense of a remote U.S. base in Afghanistan heroic fighting. 9 American soldiers were killed, 15 wounded in yesterday's battle near the Pakistan border. That's the highest number of U.S. soldiers killed in the Afghan war in 3 years. The military says that insurgents overran an observation point just outside the outpost, but failed to capture the base. An estimated 100 attackers were killed or wounded. The president of Sudan is facing charges of genocide. The chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands accuses President Omar al-Bashir of masterminding a campaign of murder, rape, and deportation of African tribes in Darfur. According to the UN, government-backed militia have killed an estimated 300,000 people over the past 5 years and forced 2.5 million from their homes. Sudan's vice president rejects the court's authority. He says the charges are politically motivated. Now, John McCain was speaking in Phoenix earlier today. He's actually in San Diego, California, getting ready to address the National Council of the La Raza at its annual convention to talk about illegal immigration. But we've been talking about this story all day. The cover of the New Yorker magazine that portrays Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama as terrorists. It's created quite a debate. And both Obama's campaign and John McCain's campaign came forward saying they both thought it was tasteless. But here's what McCain actually said on camera within the past hour or so.
I just saw a picture of it on television. I think it's totally inappropriate, and frankly, I understand if Senator Obama and his supporters would find it offensive.
And we're being told that the head of the New Yorker magazine will be joining Wolf Blitzer on the Situation Room coming up at the top of the hour. Okay, so we know she's a beauty, but graceful? Not so much. For the second year in a row, Miss USA does something memorable at the Miss Universe pageant in front of a live audience and about 1 billion people on TV. We'll show it to you.
Larry King tonight. Jesse Ventura exclusive. Will he run for the U.S. Senate or not? He's made his decision and announces it first and only on Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
Closed captioning hours provided by Eggland's Best Eggs. Better taste, better nutrition.
Eggland's Best were judged America's best tasting eggs.
EBs provide vitamin E and omega-3.
Eggland's Best Eggs.
The better egg.
A bad day is when your blood sugar is 30 or 60 when you're ready to go running 5 miles. Oh, it takes a lot of discipline. You can't wish away a hill or a mountain. You can't wish away your diabetes. You have to be ready for whatever life throws at you that morning. Using a blood glucose meter helps me course correct in the middle of a run.
The Contour Meter from Bayer. No coding technology means no coding errors and more confident choices.
My meter is a running partner. I'm Joanna Gary, completing a marathon. Now that's my simple win.
Hey fellas, check this out. First time I saw her, she set my world, she set my world to reeling. And as the years go by for this country guy, well, we never lost the feeling. With this Billy Goat, I played my last note, I can't wait to get home. Viva Viagra.
Talk to your doctor about Viagra, America's most prescribed treatment for erectile dysfunction. Learn more at Viagra.com.
Viva Viagra.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease in vision or hearing.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare supplement insurance plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
John McCain speaking right now live in San Diego, California. This is the conference for the National Council of La Raza. Barack Obama spoke to the same organization just yesterday. McCain right now discussing illegal immigration. We're following that. You can always go to CNN.com, watch it live as it streams there. And, of course, Wolf Blitzer will be talking more about this at the top of the hour. Let's check in with him. He's standing by in the Situation Room to tell us what else is coming up at the top of the hour. Hey, Wolf.
We're going to have a lot more on McCain's speech, Kira, among other subjects, including the latest issue of the New Yorker magazine. It's generating lots of attention, sparking controversy with its cover. Did the magazine simply go too far when it depicted Barack Obama and his wife as flag-burning terrorists? I'll be joined by the editor of the magazine, David Remnick. Also, a man worth billions of dollars weighs in on the country's financial woes. What would Michael Bloomberg do if he were in charge? I'll ask the mayor of New York. And Cindy McCain talks candidly about her husband, her son's return from military service in Iraq, and one of her own unusual hobbies, a very private political wife, opening up to CNN. All that, Kira, and a lot more coming up right here in The Situation.
Sounds good, Wolf. Thanks. Striptease exercise classes may be hot in some places, but not in Bartlett, Tennessee. A new gym owner says she was shut down after she put stripper poles in her studio.
He said if I had just a dance studio or just an exercise studio, that would be one thing. But when I installed the poles, I became an adult-oriented business.
Vince says that men aren't allowed in the studio and that women keep their clothes on anyway. Despite all that, Bartlett's mayor says that the place won't reopen without a court order. This is a suburban area of Memphis, Tennessee. By the way, we'll keep you posted. Miss USA Crystal Stewart will never forget her appearance at the Miss Universe pageant, and neither will we. Whoops. Tell you what, she still looks beautiful. The slip coming just after judges picked Stewart for the top 10. Miss Venezuela once was kidnapped in her homeland, so she knows how to be graceful under pressure. She picked up the crown and the title. Closing bell is about to ring on Wall Street. Our beauty queen, Susan Lesovich, standing by with a final look at a very busy business day down there. Hey, Susan.
Hey, Carrie, you know, the key to not falling is you have to scuff up those skyscraper shoes. You have
That's
to
right. You go on the
them up.
sidewalk and you scuff them, and then you work it down the runway.
Right.
Because
so
you and I know
traction. I do it every time and haven't fallen yet, knock on wood. Listen, there's a very busy day on Wall Street, one of the biggest bank failures in U.S. history. IndyMac seized by the government. Uncle Sam's dramatic lifeline to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, tighter lending rules from the Fed, but a triple-digit gain at the open evaporated quickly, and we see Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which were collapsing last week, down again, down at least 5.5%, both of them, and a lot of pressure on financial stocks today. Citigroup, Bank of America down at least 6%, as well as Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan and American Express down 4%. A lot of concerns about the health of the financial sector. We'll get some corporate earnings later this week. There's the closing bell, and we're seeing losses across the board. Kira, we'll try again tomorrow.
Sounds good. See you tomorrow, Susan. Now let's take it to the Situation Room and Wolf Blitzer. Wolf?
Thanks very much, Kira. Happening now, Barack Obama's campaign promises a tough speech about personal responsibility in front of a large African-American audience. But some are wondering if blacks will feel they're being talked down to, as the Reverend Jesse Jackson claimed. John McCain talks to a different minority group, Latinos, and he's warning that Obama's position on illegal immigration should not sit well with the nation's Hispanics. And the flap over a magazine cover. It draws on virtually every negative mischaracterization about Barack and Michelle Obama. How does the New Yorker's editor explain it? I'll speak with him live. That's coming up. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. Hours from now, Barack Obama is expected to deliver a tough message before a large African-American audience. That political and business leaders should help people, but that individuals should also look in the mirror and help themselves. That's part of what Obama is setting to tell the NAACP's annual convention. CNN's Jessica Yellen is joining us from that convention in Cincinnati. She's joining us now live right now. There's some question about what he's going to say, how it's going to be received. What are you hearing, Jessica?
Wolf, I hear that Barack Obama is going to talk about what they're calling the responsibility deficit. And essentially, that's pairing the self-help message that we've heard so much from him in the recent weeks with a message he used to talk a lot about, which are the larger problems in society and the way corporate America and the government can help people in need. Well, Reverend Jesse Jackson says Barack Obama has been talking down to the black community. But when a reporter asked Obama if he's been lecturing African Americans, the candidate said,
no.
Obama insists he agrees with Jackson that racism and poverty make it difficult for many Americans to improve their lives.
I absolutely believe that we have structural inequalities in this country that have to be dealt with.
But he thinks tough love is in order too, and expect both government and personal responsibility to be themes of his speech before the NAACP tonight. The speech is getting heightened attention, coming as it does after Jackson complained that Obama focuses too much on messages like this.
Any fool can have a child. That doesn't make you a father. It's the courage to raise a child that makes you a father.
Jackson would prefer Obama talk more about the forces that make it difficult for black men to improve their lives. In truth, Obama has addressed these issues in the past. This was Obama at last year's NAACP convention.
We have more work to do when more young black men languish in prison than attend colleges and universities across America. That's not just an African American problem. That is an American problem that we have to solve.
African American leaders say Obama's job tonight is to clearly combine that message with the self-help theme he's been delivering lately.
I think the NAACP would like to hear Senator Obama talk about personal responsibility, but also as president, how he would put some of their issues on the national agenda as well.
Jessica Yellen reporting for us from Cincinnati. We'll check back with her shortly. In another major story we're following right now, with gas prices skyrocketing, many of you want anyone to do something to help bring down prices. President Bush took what the White House describes as a major step today, says Congress should follow suit. But Democrats say while Americans are struggling to buy gas, what the president did simply won't help, and that instead he looks more like an oil company CEO. Let's go to the White House. Our correspondent Elaine Quijano is standing by live. The president talking about offshore drilling today.
Well,
Well, that's right, Wolf. You know, the White House continues to insist that there are no quick fixes to the problem of high gas prices, but that didn't stop President Bush today from blaming Congress for inaction.
Even the White House concedes it won't lower today's price at the pump. But President Bush insists the U.S. should lift the bans on offshore oil drilling anyway. The president announced he's doing his part and lifted the executive branch's prohibition signed by his father in 1990, while blaming Congress for not lifting the congressional ban.
As the democratically controlled Congress has sat idle, gas prices have continued to increase.
With less than 7 months left in his term and just weeks before Congress leaves for summer recess, the president wants to ratchet up the pressure on lawmakers.
The time for action is now.
But Democrats, including presumptive presidential nominee Senator Barack Obama, aren't budging.
If we started drilling today, the first drop of oil wouldn't come for another 7 years. And even then, it wouldn't have a lot of impact on prices.
His opponent, presumptive Republican nominee Senator John McCain, disagrees.
If we can show that we have significant oil reserves off our coast, that will clearly affect the futures market and affect the price of oil.
Yet even those who support more drilling say even if companies get the green light, bringing oil to the market could take a while.
I mean, you're talking about 5 to 10 years in most parts of the outer continental shelf. And the reason for that is they have not done an inventory in the outer continental shelf for the United States in over 30 years.
Now, last year, a government report found that opening the outer continental shelf would mean oil production would start no sooner than the year 2017, and there would not be a significant impact on oil prices, according to this report, until at least 2030. Wolf.
All right, it's a long time. It seems like way too long to try to get those prices down for a lot of people out there. Elaine, thank you. Let's check in with Jack Cafferty. He's got the Cafferty file. Jack.
The New Yorker magazine says it's satire. A lot of people think it's just disgusting. This week's cover, we'll show it to you here in a moment. There it is. This week's cover portrays the Obamas, Barack and Michelle, as terrorists. Barack Obama's in the Oval Office, dressed in traditional Muslim attire, sandals, robe, and a turban. His wife, Michelle, appears with an afro, dressed in camouflage, combat boots, and carrying an assault rifle. The couple's doing a fist bump while an American flag's burning in the fireplace and a picture of Osama bin Laden hangs on the wall. Obama's campaign calls the cover illustration, which is titled The Politics of Fear, tasteless and offensive. John McCain's campaign agrees with that characterization. The magazine says it's satire, saying the cover, quote, combines a number of fantastical images about the Obamas and shows them for the obvious distortions they are, unquote. They add that satire is part of what they do at New Yorker, and the cover is meant to bring things out into the open. Some agree with the magazine, saying it just pokes fun at all the ignorance out there and generates discussion. The Huffington Post suggests this is the perfect image for anyone who's ever tried to paint Barack Obama as a Muslim and his wife Michelle as an angry revolutionary or questioned their patriotism. So here's the question. What do you think of the cover of the New Yorker that shows Barack Obama in traditional Muslim attire and his wife Michelle with an afro and assault rifle? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file. You can post a comment on my blog. Wolf.
It's a shocking cover, and we're going to speak about it with the editor, David Remnick. That's coming up later this hour. Jack, thank you. Barack Obama wants you to clearly understand his plans for Iraq should he be elected president. But those plans could hurt him politically no matter what he says. We're watching the story. And compare and contrast. When it comes to tough issues like immigration reform, John McCain says he walks toward them, but that Barack Obama mostly talks about them. And he's telling Latino voters, McCain that is, they should be concerned about Barack Obama. And Cindy McCain has a need for speed. John McCain didn't always know about it.
I didn't tell my husband, though. I went and got my license and then told him. It took him for a flight, so it was a lot of fun.
All of our rooms and suites have king-sized beds. But some of our guests prefer our king-sized beaches. And now you can get both for up to 50% off. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
I've got a proposition for you.
The biggest heist of the year is now on DVD and Blu-ray.
You've opened Pandora's box.
Based on the true story. Jason Statham.
Didn't expect this from you. What did you expect?
The Bank Job on DVD and Blu-ray July 15th with digital copy for iTunes and Windows Media.
If you or a loved one suffers from asbestos-related mesothelioma or lung cancer, then you may be eligible to receive compensation for your injuries, even if you've been a smoker. Protect your legal rights by consulting the law firm of Whites & Luxembourg. Whites & Luxembourg has won billions in verdicts and settlements for its clients and will litigate your asbestos claim with professionalism and sensitivity. Call Whites & Luxembourg today or log on to whiteslux.com. Protect your rights. We are here to help.
CNN's Soledad O'Brien, a year-long investigation that affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN. Sponsored by Geico.
In 1959, two friends in Michigan started a small company. Today, that company operates in 50 countries, has sales of $6.8 billion, and helps over 3 million people own their own business. We're Amway Global. In North America, we proudly operate as Quickstar. We're a health and beauty leader with more than 450 products and 700 patents. And we're a company that continues to grow. Now you know. To learn more, contact your Quickstar independent business owner.
Chris Sinner, Verizon Wireless Network Technician, makes sure that this customer stays in touch with their friends. Project Manager Nancy Pinto makes sure that this one stays in touch with his inner child. Thanks to Jermaine Shorter, Network Engineer, she always knows what's going on. While Network Manager Lee Pauling makes sure this customer always knows where he's going. Internet, videos, music, games, and GPS, brought to you by the whole Verizon Wireless team.
Amid recent criticisms that Barack Obama may have been revising, that is, his position on Iraq, the candidate is trying to make it clear where he stands. However, his plans could hurt him politically, whichever policy he winds up supporting. Let's go to our senior political analyst, Bill Schneider. He's watching this story for us. What's happening to this whole issue of Iraq, Bill?
Well, it is heating up again on the campaign trail. John McCain believes he has Barack Obama boxed in on Iraq. Obama says he has a plan.
I'm going to call in the Joint Chiefs of Staff and give them a new mission, and that is to bring the war in Iraq to a close. We are going to get out.
If Obama returns from his upcoming trip to Iraq and says his position is unchanged, McCain will claim he didn't listen. But if he talks to the generals and shifts his position in any way, then McCain will call him a flip-flopper.
I will look forward to seeing his position when he comes back, when he, for the first time, sits down and gets a briefing from General Petraeus.
In his op-ed article, Obama acknowledges that our troops have performed heroically in bringing down the level of violence. But, he adds, the same factors that led me to oppose the surge still hold true.
His proposals would jeopardize the fragility of the success we've achieved, and his refusal to acknowledge that success is remarkable.
Obama argues that debating the surge is not relevant anymore because the big strategic picture has changed. He points to two changes, one inside Iraq.
We had the Prime Minister of Iraq, Maliki, say that we should have a timetable for withdrawal. They want to end the occupation.
The other outside Iraq.
We can refocus our attention on Afghanistan, where the situation has gotten worse and worse.
The situation has changed, and that, Obama says, strengthens his case for ending the war. In his op-ed article, Obama writes, quote, ending the war is essential to meeting our broader strategic goals, starting in Afghanistan and Pakistan, where the Taliban is resurgent and al-Qaeda has a safe haven. Wolf?
Bill Schneider, thank you. I want to go out to San Diego. Senator John McCain is speaking before the National Council of La Raza, a Latino group. Let's listen in.
And we cannot forget the humanity God commands of us as we seek a remedy to this problem. I recently spoke at 2 major Hispanic Latino conferences, as did Senator Obama. I didn't use those occasions to criticize Senator Obama. I would prefer not to do so today. But he suggested in his speeches there and here that I turn my back on comprehensive reform out of political necessity. I feel I must, as they say, correct the record. At a moment of great difficulty in my campaign, when my critics said it would be political suicide for me to do so, I helped author with Senator Kennedy comprehensive immigration reform and fought for its package not one but twice. I cast a lot of hard votes, as did the other Republicans and Democrats who joined our bipartisan effort. So did Senator Kennedy. I took my lumps for it without complaint. My campaign was written off as a lost cause. I did so not just because I believed it was the right thing to do for Hispanic Americans, it was the right thing to do for all Americans. That's why I did it. Senator Obama declined to cast some of those tough votes. He voted for and even sponsored amendments that were intended to kill the legislation, amendments that Senator Kennedy and I voted against. I never asked for any special privileges from anyone just for having done the right thing. Doing my duty to my country is its own reward. But I do ask for your trust that when I say I remain committed to fair, practical, and comprehensive immigration reform, I mean it. I mean it.
All right, John McCain making the case that he supports comprehensive immigration reform, speaking before a major Hispanic group out in San Diego. Let's bring in Dana Bash. She's covering the McCain campaign for us. So why is Senator McCain doing this, saying this right now, Dana?
Well, you know, this is the third Hispanic conference, Wolf, that both candidates have addressed in the last few weeks. And at all three, Barack Obama slammed McCain for abandoning his push on immigration reform. As you just heard, John McCain talk about that. And the reason why Obama has done that is because Republican primary voters were so opposed to it. Obama knows that and knows that that's pretty much why McCain backed off of it. So what McCain tried to do today is to turn that into one of his central themes and points of contrast against Obama. McCain argues that he walks the walk when it comes to reaching across the aisle and tackling tough issues, but all Obama does is talk the talk on immigration. And McCain just said, wait a minute, I was the one who took the tough votes that were politically suicidal, and Obama was voting for several measures that everybody, including his friend Ted Kennedy, knew would kill that delicate immigration compromise. So he's essentially using immigration to say that Obama might talk about a new kind of politics, but he really has some history of putting the politics of the moment ahead of doing what it takes to get things done.
But there's no doubt, Dana, that since the collapse of McCain-Kennedy, the comprehensive immigration reform legislation, including a pathway towards citizenship for millions of illegal immigrants, Senator McCain's tone has shifted on this very sensitive issue.
Absolutely, Wolf. It is just a fact that John McCain came back from the political dead last year, in large part because he went to New Hampshire and said over and over again that he learned his lesson. He said Americans simply are not ready for comprehensive immigration reform, that he's going to secure the border first. And the reality is, as we just heard, since McCain locked up the Republican nomination, he's really softened his tone. He's used the term comprehensive immigration reform a lot more often. In fact, McCain recently called comprehensive immigration reform his top priority, and hopes that that will help him with the very Latino voters that he's addressing right now. And many of those voters he's really going to need to win critical battleground states this fall. But it is absolutely not something that you heard from McCain when he was fighting for Republican votes during the Republican primaries.
Dana will watch this story for us. Dana Bash covering the McCain campaign for us. A simple magazine cover causing lots of commotion. The magazine says it's supposed to be satire, but the Obama campaign isn't laughing at all. The editor of the New Yorker magazine, David Remnick, he's standing by to join us live. He'll explain, what was he thinking And billionaire and New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, he's also standing by live. We'll talk about a lot with him, including poverty and the economic crisis in the country right now. What's going on with your money? Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
Tomorrow's a big day. It's the reason you kissed the kids and got in the cab this morning. It's why they invented energy drinks. It's why you joined Toastmasters and floss religiously. Tomorrow's why you haven't eaten dairy or broccoli in a week. If it weren't for tomorrow, those business cards you ordered would seem kind of silly. Tomorrow's big, and at Hilton Garden Inn, we know every big day will go much better with a perfect night before. When tomorrow's a big day, stay HGI tonight.
On August 1st,
we're now in a dead heat for the American presidency.
The fate of the free world.
One single vote will decide this election.
Will rest in the hands of one man.
Holy crap!
Now,
welcome to Air Force One.
Wow.
One ordinary guy.
Would you like a beer, bud?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Is giving the candidates a reason to run.
They said you'd do anything to win, even if it meant selling your mother's soul.
If you met my mother, you'd understand. Swing vote. Rated PG-13, August 1st.
Saturday and Sunday night, CNN and Essence Magazine present Soledad O'Brien with Black Leaders, the Problems, the Solutions, Reclaiming the Dream. CNN Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
Johnsonville Brats proudly presents Hot July Nights, July 18th and the 19th at Esther Short Park, downtown Vancouver. Friday the 18th, it's Peter Frampton, and Saturday the 19th, it's the legendary Beach Boys. Gates open at 4, opening act at 5:30, and the main event at 8. For advanced ticket information, go to hotjulynights.com or ticketmaster.com. Hot July Nights, July 18th and the 19th at Esther Short Park in downtown Vancouver. This is a 21 and older event produced by Elite Marketing.
Hey, how was everybody's first day in Gotham City?
Some joker just blew up the minivan.
With a rocket launcher.
Dad, what's fear toxin?
You know what I found out? We can get a great deal by adding phone and internet to our cable. So, maybe this is paradise.
Call now for the Comcast Triple Play upgrade for Gotham City and beyond. The Dark Knight in theaters July 18th, rated PG-13.
Jesse Ventura's big announcement. Larry King, CNN Tonight.
Carol Costello is monitoring some other important stories incoming to the Situation Room right now. Carol, what's going on?
Well, Wolf, the chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court is filing genocide charges against the president of Sudan. Omar al-Bashir is accused of masterminding attempts to wipe out tribes in the Darfur region of the country through a campaign of murder, rape, and deportation. Sudan's government says the court has no legal authority in the country. The Marine husband of a female soldier who disappeared in North Carolina last week is being held on murder charges. Authorities say the charred remains of Second Lieutenant Holly Wymonk were discovered in a brush fire near Camp Lejeune. Another man is being held on charges of aiding with the murder. It's the final day of the annual running of the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain. 5 people were reportedly injured in today's run. That brings the total of injured to 45 during the 8-day festival that draws people from around the world. The last person to be killed taking part in the 400-year-old tradition was a 22-year-old American. That happened back in '95. Back to you, Wolf.
When I was in college, I went to Pamplona for the running of the Bulls, spent the summer going
Did you do
through
it?
Europe. No, I was up on a balcony watching. I remember hanging out with my old friend Rick Goldstein, and both of us were pretty much cowards at the time. But it was very exciting. It was very exciting to see it.
It's best to let others do it.
Yeah, we went to see some bullfights. It was very cool. All right, thanks, Carol, very much. Cindy McCain says she has a bond with mothers who have children in Iraq.
I kind of knew how they felt, and it was more about just, I guess, relating to a group of women more so than anything.
She speaks out on her own son's military service in Iraq and his homecoming. Also, The New Yorker magazine sparking outrage with its latest cover depicting Barack Obama and his wife as flag-burning terrorists. We'll discuss with the editor of The New Yorker, David Remnick. He's standing by live.
This is odd. Hey, Bob, it's Greg. Either my feet are getting bigger or the competition's getting a little close. Let's discuss network security. Call me. Hope you're well.
Hey, Greg. I'm here with your network and security specialist.
Greg, there are security updates for all your offices and some new features you'll like.
Perfect. Thanks, you guys.
With experienced technology specialists certified in everything from storage to security, CDW is there.
So you understand your feet aren't growing.
That's pretty good.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans, so I could understand it all. After I called, I was able to choose the plan that was right for me.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you from paying thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. These are the only Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit with all you need to enroll, so you can join the millions of people who've already trusted us for their Medicare supplement insurance. Plus, we'll send you this free guide to understanding Medicare.
The prices are competitive. I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call now to get the free information kit. Plus, we'll include this free Medicare guide. And the advantages don't end there. You can choose from a wide range of plans that are all competitively priced, so you can find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. There are virtually no claim forms to fill out. And best of all, they're the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP.
When they told me these plans were endorsed by AARP,
I had only one thing to say. Sign me up.
Call now, 1-800-495-9137, and let us help you choose the right plan. So call now, 1-800-495-9137, and find out about an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting for your call.
Closed captioning hours provided by Act Restoring Mouthwash. 3 Acts, 1 bottle.
To help avoid dental problems, I give patients Act Restoring Mouthwash.
Act kills germs, restores minerals, and strengthens enamel. Act, the one dentists believe in.
To our viewers here in the Situation Room, happening now, bank run. Jittery customers lining up to pull their money out of the IndyMac Bank after one of the largest bank failures in U.S. history. So here's the question, how safe is your money? We're going to be taking a much closer look. Also, access for sale. A newspaper catches a lobbyist allegedly offering access to Vice President Dick Cheney, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and other top Bush administration officials for a steep price. We're going to show you the stunning video. And a near miss in the sky, a terrifying look behind the scenes after a collision is narrowly avoided at JFK Airport. Now the FAA is stepping in. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. The New Yorker magazine has long been known for its very creative covers, but many supporters of Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama say the magazine has simply gone way too far with its latest issue. I'm going to be discussing all of this in just a moment or so with the New Yorker editor David Remnick. He's standing by live. But first, let's turn to CNN's Carol Costello, who's covering this controversy for us. Update our viewers. Give us the background, Carol, what this is all about.
Well, what this is all about is what some call satire and some call a crass attempt at political satire. All the talk is over the cover of the New Yorker magazine, a publication known for its provocative covers. Offensive or clever? Take a look at the New Yorker cover. There are the Obamas in the Oval Office. He's in a turban. She's in full black militant mode, AK-47, ammo, afro. An American flag is burning behind them. right below Osama bin Laden's portrait. Oh, and the Obamas are doing the dap. The New Yorker says it's a satire not about the Obamas, but about all the outrageous rumors swirling around them, the politics of fear. But Obama and even his opponent are not amused.
Frankly, I understand if Senator Obama and his supporters would find it offensive.
Some of Obama's supporters are even calling for a boycott of the New Yorker.
As millions of people will see this in a atmosphere of the airport, on newsstands, they will never read the article. And this is what is so harmful about having this in this depiction.
And maybe he's right. When we showed people the New Yorker cover, they just didn't get it.
He reminds me of Islam, and she reminds me of a terrorist killer.
I mean, it's not a scary issue, but, you know, background's what they are.
But it ain't funny because I see a flag burning in the fireplace and a picture of on the wall. I'm not sure who that is.
But there is another side to this. The New Yorker is meant to appeal to a more sophisticated audience, the kind that watches Comedy Central's Stephen Colbert. And it's not like the New Yorker has never satirized before. Last year, Iran's president was drawn sitting on the loo, his foot touching a foot next door, a la Senator Larry Craig.
I think the people who already share the paranoia about the Obamas will see it and understand it as some kind of brilliant, concise summary of all their fears and concerns. But I think the majority of people will see it for what it is. I certainly hope so.
Maybe. What it's sure to do is sell magazines. But oddly enough, Wolf, most people we spoke to were more upset at the depiction of the American flag burning in the fireplace than they were about Obama or his wife depicted in a less than flattering way. Back to you.
Carol Costello watching the story. Let's get to the editor of the New Yorker magazine, David Remnick. He's joining us now live from New York. David, if you had to do it all over again, would you do this again knowing the uproar this has caused?
Yes, and I would like to explain quite concisely what our intention was. The idea is to attack lies and misconceptions and distortions about the Obamas and their background and their politics. We've heard all of this nonsense about how they're supposedly insufficiently patriotic or soft on terrorism, that somehow the fist bump is something that it's not. And we try to put all of these images in one cover and to satirize and shine a really harsh light on something that's incredibly damaging.
David, this sort of feeds into the worst of the stereotypes of Barack Obama. Let me just ask the question, because there are going to be a lot of people who are not sophisticated New Yorker magazine readers who don't necessarily appreciate the satire, who will simply look at this and say, you know what, this couple, they're a bunch of terrorists.
I don't think so at all. I think you underestimate the intelligence of the American people, to be quite honest. I think, yes, there will be some people who will misunderstand it or not get it at first, but here we are on television discussing something that's been a kind of subterranean theme in American politics, which is disgusting these lies about Barack Obama, about Michelle Obama. And so, in fact, we're not even satirizing the Obamas, we're satirizing these rumors, these lies that have fed into what's called the politics of fear. This is the image that Barry Blitt has put on the cover and that I've have responsibility for putting there. We've had many, many images in the past poking fun at many political situations. The Bush administration has been the butt of I don't know how many covers that we've published in the last 7 years. I do understand why some people are upset. Some people are upset because the last 7 years has been such a political disaster. And they have placed so much hope, hope that it's embodied in Barack Obama, that they are very fearful that something will upset that apple cart. But remember, satire bites hard sometimes as well as tries to be funny.
Because I can't tell you how many people have said to me, David, if they wouldn't have known this was on the cover of the New Yorker magazine, they would have just seen this cartoon and they would have been asked, which magazine has this on the cover? Almost everyone would have said some neo-Nazi magazine, the Ku Klux Klan magazine.
Come on.
I mean, this portrays
the fact is, wait a minute. The fact of the matter is that it is on the New Yorker, and context means a lot. People know what the New Yorker is. They know what it stands for. They know that it's a liberal-minded magazine. They know that it's published.
I was about to say, the New Yorker would have been the
finish.
last magazine I would have thought would have had this kind of cartoon on the cover.
You know, Wolf, if there's no possibility for satire, if you always have to look for the joke that absolutely everyone will get, you won't have Jon Stewart, you won't have Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert goes on and mocks right-wing commentary by pretending to be a right-wing commentator. In a way, this is Colbert in print.
But when does satire become bad taste?
Well, that's for everybody to decide and for everybody to discuss. I mean, I read it one way, you read it another, other people will read it another. I mean, this is what being provocative is all about. It's not being loved by everybody. But I do want to state very, very clearly the intention of this cover, in no uncertain terms, is to talk about the politics of fear and the lies that have been told about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as well.
I have to point out that I've read almost every article about Barack Obama in the New Yorker, including the current issue, and almost all of these articles have been very favorable. That's the irony that a lot of people see in this cover.
Well, that's why I say context means a great deal.
David Remnick, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do, so get ready. This is probably only just the beginning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Wolf.
John McCain's wife is very private, but Cindy McCain is opening up to CNN. She talks about her family and reveals one fun fact she once kept secret even from her husband. And Bill Clinton criticized one well-known African-American, talks about Clinton being called the first black president, then says Clinton tried to stop that from actually coming true. And funerals for the fallen. There's a debate raging here in Washington over showing the services for troops killed in war. Our Jamie McIntyre is speaking to the families to see what they want. Stay with us. You're in The Situation.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
When you feel good inside, you feel good all over. Yo Plus is yogurt plus. Yo Plus's unique blend of probiotic cultures and fiber help your body regulate digestive health naturally. Compare Yo Plus to Activia. Both have special digestive health cultures, but only Yo Plus has fiber plus vitamin A plus vitamin D. And Yo Plus tastes great. Get more with a Yo Plus coupon at yoplus.com.
A building story from Crestor.
While I was busy building my life, something else was building in my arteries. Dangerous plaque. It had been building up most of my life. My doctor said it's a progressive disease called atherosclerosis. And with my high cholesterol, she prescribed Crestor to help slow the buildup of plaque.
Along with diet, Crestor lowers bad cholesterol, raises good, and is approved to slow the progression of atherosclerosis.
Is Crestor right for you? Ask your doctor.
Crestor isn't for everyone, like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests will check for liver problems. Tell me about other medicines you're taking, or if you have muscle pains or weakness. That could be a sign of serious side effects.
Talk to your doctor about plaque buildup and find out if it's time for Crestor.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
CNN, July 23rd and 24th. All of America will get a good picture of what it's like to be black in this country.
It amazes me is how far I've come from the old neighborhood.
I'll open up my mouth and people will be like, whoa, you're speaking really well.
There's this perception that if I'm married to a white guy that I maybe behave a certain way.
We need to tell the whole range of our story. Black in America, July 23rd and 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN. Sponsored by Geico.
Virtually all eyes watch her as the wife of a presidential candidate, yet she's among the most private of the political wives. Cindy McCain still is opening up right now to CNN. She talks about her marriage, did something she rarely does regarding her children, even talked about her need for speed at thousands of feet in the air. Our Brianna Keeler caught up with her yesterday at the IndyCar race out in Lebanon, Tennessee. That's near Nashville. I know you were out there. Tell us what's going on, because you had a pretty revealing interview, Brianna, with her.
Yeah, pretty revealing interview, and in a setting that's not a typical campaign stop for a candidate's wife, as the McCain campaign shows voters a really different woman than the impeccably dressed, super wealthy wife that you see at John McCain's side on the campaign trail. You have, having lived in Arizona while Senator McCain is in Washington, you've been able to avoid a whole lot of the spotlight. Obviously, as we can see today, that's not the case. You're very much in it. And there's this prospect of moving to Washington, living in the White House, the ultimate spotlight in a city that you haven't necessarily always felt very, very welcome in. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously, if my husband were elected, I would be proud to move with him to Washington and to the White House. You know, we made the choice years ago to stay in Arizona, or for me to stay out west with our kids and raise our children in the most normal fashion we could. And we didn't feel like Washington, D.C. was a healthy environment for young kids, particularly doing what we were doing. So we made the right choice. And it wasn't because I didn't like Washington so much, but I cared more about my children and wanted the best for them. So
you're very complex, multifaceted. You're a private pilot. Why did you start doing that?
Oh, gosh, my husband was running for the Senate in Arizona. And in Arizona, the only way to get around the state is by small private plane. And I was scared to death to fly. And so I decided I would take ground school and learn a little bit about it so that I could then maybe not be so frightened. And I wound up loving it and buying a plane, and you know, it was something that just caught my interest and my passion. And and I didn't tell my husband though. I went and got my license and then told him. It took him for a flight, so it was a lot of fun.
You mentioned your sons a few times today, and on Friday you did something you normally don't do. You mentioned your son coming home. Why talk now about that?
Oh, it was just a moment for me. It's, you know, I'm happy to have him home. Obviously, I'm a mother. When I look at a group of women and know so many of them have their children, they either are serving or about to go overseas to serve, I know how it feels. And it was a group of women, and we were, a lot of my talk to coming in, I kind of knew how they felt. And it was more about just, I guess, relating to a group of women more so than anything. A group of mothers. A group of mothers more than anything.
A group of mothers, yeah, like yourself, you're a very proactive mother. I also asked Mrs. McCain about a recent report in the LA Times that many other media outlets have run with. It lays out court dates and documents that suggest, contrary to what John McCain says in his autobiography, that the senator began dating Cindy, who is his second wife, months before he was separated or divorced from his first wife. I want to know, what do you think about those reports, and what can you tell us about your husband's character?
My husband and I have been married for 28 years, and we have a loving, caring relationship, and those are personal things that I'm not willing to speak about.
Now, we'll see Cindy McCain next month at another racing event, this time a NASCAR race. Candidates, of course, woo so-called NASCAR dads at these events, but racing also has a large female fan base, and we've seen Cindy McCain really helping her husband lately, trying to court those women voters, Wolf.
Brianna, tough questions for Cindy McCain, but it was a nice side of her that we certainly did see, a little different side. Thanks for doing the interview. Brianna Keeler reporting. In our strategy session, a key McCain supporter caught off guard.
I'm drawing a blank, and I hate it when I do that, particularly on television.
So what was the question that stumped Governor Sanford? You might be surprised. And harsh words for President Bill Clinton from one of the nation's leading voices on civil rights. Will the primary wounds ever heal among Democrats? Paul Begala and John Fury, they're standing by right here in The Situation.
5 years. Nearly 400,000 in Texas.
More than 250,000 in California.
From the Aloha State of Hawaii
to the Free State of Maryland.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. The PPA buses, sponsored by America's pharmaceutical research companies, have been to all 50 states, helping nearly 5 million people who are uninsured and struggling.
Call 1-888-4PPA now.
Tell a trained specialist the names of your medicines.
You could get them for free or nearly free.
Because America's pharmaceutical research companies want to help.
Children don't usually worry about replacing the clothes they outgrow, but 8,000 Oregon foster kids aren't always so fortunate. To help, Sleep Country USA is collecting new clothes and shoes for foster kids of all sizes. But they can't do it without you.
Bring your gift of new pants, tops, and shoes to any Sleep Country location. Sleep Country knows not everyone can be a foster parent, but anyone can help a foster child.
I noticed that my hair was starting to get thin.
Thousands of men and women with hair loss.
I needed to make a change in my life and make a change for the better.
Regrowing their hair and turning back the clock.
More hair, more confidence.
I have hair now.
That's what medical hair restoration's all about.
Get the powerful information you need right now to regrow your hair permanently. Call this toll-free number now for your free DVD package. It will change your life forever. Call now. Just do it.
Rutabaga. Rutabaga.
After years of trying to interact with your TV,
Rutabaga! It's a carrot? Come on!
isn't it time your TV responded? With Searchlight, it can. For information on just about anything, tune to channel 888 or select Searchlight from your on-demand menu.
Your community needs you. Find out how to become a volunteer firefighter and meet local people who are making a difference. Go to Searchlight Channel 888 on your Comcast remote and choose careers and education.
Let's talk business. Small business. You've been paying too much on your phone bill for too long, but there's a better choice. Call Comcast now and get business class voice for $19.95 a month when you get any business class internet package. $19.95 a month per line. So not only will you get reliable voice and internet that's way faster than DSL for your small business, but you save money by doing it. That's how small businesses make it big. Comcast Business Class. Turn your office on.
Joining us now for our strategy session, Democratic strategist Paul Begala and Republican strategist John Fury. I'm going to ask both of them to stand by for a minute. I'm going to ask you about a story that came out of an interview I did with the South Carolina Governor, Mark Sanford, on Late Edition yesterday. It's generating lots of reaction, not on the internet. Abby Tatton is following what's going on. Give us the background and the details, Abby.
Well, online, this is being called excruciating. Governor Mark Sanford's answer yesterday, his stumble on Late Edition, seen around the world and then quickly passed along to YouTube.
Are there any significant economic differences between what the Bush administration has put forward over these many years as opposed to now what John McCain supports?
Yeah, I mean, for instance, take, take for instance the issue of I'm drawing a blank, and I hate it when I do that, particularly on television.
Answered NAFTA, which you, Wolf, then challenged as not being a significant difference. Online, this is being passed around on conservative and on liberal blogs as well. Scratch Mark Sanford from the McCain Veep stakes, and that's from a conservative blog. Wolf?
All right, Abby, thanks very much. Let's go to Paul Begala and John Fury. They're thinking about this very quickly. What do you... I mean, I felt bad for the guy, and I was doing the interview, but does this mean he's no longer on that so-called short list?
The answer is spending, by the way. That's the difference between McCain and Bush. I feel bad for Mark Sanford. Great guy, very smart guy, good family. We've all had our moments on TV where we aren't as articulate as we want to be. This was especially inarticulate. I don't know if it scratches him for the VP stakes, but he'd be a good candidate because he really would help McCain with the South.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the end of it for Mark Sanford. When you've made an ad for the Democratic National Committee, essentially, for Barack Obama. Now, let's wait and see how the Obama campaign, the Democrats, jump on this. This should be the heart of their attack on Senator McCain, is that he's the same as Bush, especially on the economy, also on Social Security, health care, on every important issue. He'd be a third term for Bush. Democrats need to just keep pounding this, and they couldn't have had a greater assist than the one that Governor Sanford gave you yesterday.
And I had played an ad for Governor Sanford, an Obama ad, in which he made the point that, if you like Bush's economic policies, vote for McCain. So they're really they're hitting that issue as hard as they can.
Right, because it's true. I mean, the Republicans have a philosophy. There's nothing dishonorable about sticking to your philosophy. They have a philosophy. They embodied it for 8 years under George W. Bush. They're going to continue.
It's going to cost them some votes, I'm sure.
Well, the economy is not doing that great, and the president's going to get some blame for that, and some will leak over to McCain, there's no doubt about it. But the fact of the matter is that on spending, John McCain is solid, and on taxes, George Bush is right. So on spending, John McCain wants less spending, less pork barrel spending, less wasteful Washington spending. On tax cuts, no one wants their taxes increased, and I think that that's actually a winning message.
The chairman of the NAACP Board of Directors, Julian Bond, the great civil rights leader, he said this on Sunday. He said, "We fared much better under the man who liked to be called the first black president, but then we watched him try to bring down the man who would be the real first black president." A strong indictment of your former boss, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, and I saw a statement that the former president's office released.
I'll read it to you.
Okay.
He said, President Clinton has counted Julian Bond as a friend for a long time, and he looks forward to working with him to elect Senator Obama. That's from President Clinton's communications director.
All right, so President Clinton taking the high road. I think this is the last thing that Senator Obama needs. The Obama brand is two things, change and unity. Now, he's got to unify this Democratic Party. Bill Clinton doing his part today, turning the other cheek to a really unfair attack. Julian Bond has done great things in his life, and he's a real hero of the civil rights movement. But what he said today was completely unfair. It was uncalled for. It was divisive. And tonight, Senator Obama will be speaking to the NAACP. And it'll be interesting to watch to see if he stands up and defends Bill Clinton, which would do an enormous amount of good to try to unify the party and advance the Obama brand of unity.
It would unify the party if he were to make a statement like that.
It would, but I don't think it's going to be completely unified. You know, this shows how difficult it's going to be to put Hillary Clinton on as vice president. Bill Clinton still attracts a lot of notice, a lot of heartache with the African-American community, and he's very controversial, even though Paul, worked with him so well. The fact of the matter is that Bill Clinton will add too much controversy, and that's why Hillary Clinton will not get the vice president.
Because he did say that apparently to one of Hillary Clinton's supporters, Barack Obama, that yes, Hillary Clinton is on the short list, but the Bill Clinton factor complicates matters.
Why would you want somebody who was related to the most popular man on earth, the most beloved man on the planet is Bill Clinton? One of the most beloved men in America. President Bush. No, I mean who? Maybe Mandela. Maybe the Pope. Maybe. But Bill Clinton's the most beloved man on earth. And he is revered among Democrats and pretty well respected. He has a 52% approval rating among Americans today, even after being attacked by the press during his wife's campaign. President Bush, by contrast, McCain's running mate effectively. President Bush, about 26% approval rating. So Clinton's beaten Bush 2-1. I'd much rather run with Bill Clinton than George Bush.
Why are you laughing?
Well, obviously Julian Bond has a problem with Bill Clinton, as do a lot in the African-American community, and actually, independents don't like him that much. They like him, some like him. The fact of the matter is Bill Clinton is not the most beloved man on earth.
Who's more popular? Seriously.
I can come up with a list of people. The Pope is a good one, but Wolf Blitzer.
I'm not. But he did say Nelson Mandela and the Pope. Those are both tough acts to
perhaps. But he would rank up there with them. I promise you, if you were to survey world opinion, he'd be up there with those two great leaders.
We'll watch. Paul and John, thanks very much.
Thanks.
A loss in the world of politics. We're going to take a closer look back at the unique career of our old friend and colleague Tony Snow. That's coming up. Plus, 2 passenger planes come within seconds of colliding. Now the FAA is changing the rules at 20 of the nation's busiest airports. Stay with us. You're in The Situation.
Closed captioning hours provided by Lennox. Innovation never felt so good. Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Hertz introduces a faster way to rent a car. Our new online check-in gets you to your car in 10 minutes or less, guaranteed, or get $50 towards your rental. And Hertz now offers pump prices on gas, so you'll never have to stop at the gas station on the way back to fill up. If it feels like you're moving faster than the rest of the world, you are.
That's my brother Earl. He's been driving the same car for 20 years. What's worse, he's had the same car insurance for 20 years. I tell him, Earl, driving an old car is one thing, but having outdated insurance could be costing you a fortune.
Is that right?
Switch to the AARP insurance program from the Hartford. It's a program designed for people 50 plus.
If you're over 50, you might save $300 by switching to the AARP auto insurance program from the Hartford.
Really?
And with a good driving record, your deductible can disappear over time. Plus, your first accident could be forgiven.
Earl, no penalty for your first accident. Does your plan do that?
I didn't know anybody did that.
Not yet a member? Call now. We'll even send you a free calculator. Call Call 1-800-556-8277. 1-800-556-8277.
Hi, Nigel. You okay?
Oh, this is Emma. Hola.
Hey, Sydney here. How's it going, everyone?
Well, I was thinking about having an online competition.
I think that's a good idea.
Here, let me share it with you.
Okay, is Kelsey ready? Are you ready, Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome to a network where your sales territory is bigger than your neighborhood. I love what you're doing with my cookies. I like to discuss some of my new ideas with you. What about jelly bean cookies?
Genius.
Cisco, welcome to the Human Network.
We need tax policies that respect the wage earners and job creators.
It's harder to save. It's harder to retire.
The biggest problem with American healthcare system is that it costs too much.
We will have a health care system, not a disease care system. We have the chance to solve problems that we've been talking about year after year after year after year.
Call and make sure their talk turns into real solutions. AARP is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Coverage of America Votes 2008 is brought to you by Cisco. Welcome to the Human Network and by Divided We Fail. Demand action from the presidential candidates and our leaders at dividedwefail.org. Visit the Election Center at cnn.com/election for in-depth information on the candidates.
On our political ticker today, those who loved him and even those who clashed with him are roundly saying that he was an incredibly smart, warm, and decent man. Right now, many people are remembering Tony Snow. The former White House press secretary died Saturday of cancer. He was 53 years old. This is a story about love.
I'm unbelievably lucky and unbelievably blessed.
Tony Snow loved his family, loved his work, and loved his country. And because of the kind of man he was respected and, yes, loved by those he worked with. We go back a long way. After starting out writing newspaper editorials, he was a speechwriter for the first President Bush when I covered the Bush administration.
This administration has always suffered from a humor deficit.
He got a start on television, yes, right here at Late Edition.
Of the scintillating insights of the panel, so don't risk missing it. Stay right here.
Then he became a competitor, anchoring Fox's Sunday program and joking about the battle for the big guests.
Nevertheless, it's kind of fun because you go through this tango. You deal with a coterie of age, you deal with schedulers, you deal with all your competition, and you beg and grovel, and they finally say, well, okay, we'll come on. We won't say anything, but we'll come on.
We both were convention podium reporters. I remember him always working, writing editorial columns in his free time.
Calm down. I know you're excited. Your voice is rising. Your pace is increasing.
I'm telling you,
when he returned to the White House, he clearly relished standing up to reporters and anchors. Can you say categorically that the United States government had nothing to do with the timing of this verdict?
Yes. I mean, the idea is preposterous. This is one of these tinfoil hat sort of things where people suddenly decide.
For a long time, even cancer didn't defeat him. He left the job he called a source of joy and great pride, and eventually came back to CNN as tough and funny as ever.
They're tired of Washington politics.
Well, they're also tired
of Obama has the appeal he does.
Jack, hate to tell you, they're even tireder of journalists who fare even worse.
Well, I have no doubt about that.
Sadly, his time with us was all too short. Tony Snow leaves a loving wife, 3 great children, and a legacy of honesty and humor that will live on as an example of the way politics and journalism should be done.
Thank you, finally, thank you all.
Thank you.
Services for Tony Snow will be held here in Washington on Thursday. The President and the First Lady will attend along with a host of others. Our deepest condolences to his loving family. Let's go to Jack. He's got the Cafferty file. You know, he was a terrific guy. No matter what political views he had, he was always smiling, as you well know, Jack.
Well, and he was a pro, and he was a pro's pro. This is, as was evidenced in an earlier clip from your Sunday program yesterday, this is a business that can extract a pretty high toll if you're not on your game, as witnessed by the guy from South Carolina that couldn't answer your question yesterday. Tony Snow knew his stuff, never caught up short, always had an answer that made some sense. You might not have agreed with it, might not have been the right answer, but it was an answer that was rooted in logic and an awareness of current events that most of us don't bring to the table each and every day. He was a class act top to bottom. 53, way too young. He's got young kids. Horrible, horrible stuff. What do you think of the cover of the New Yorker magazine that shows Barack Obama in traditional Muslim attire and his wife Michelle with an afro and an assault rifle dressed like a terrorist? Sirki writes from New Mexico, what year is this, 1964, when civil rights workers were murdered in Mississippi? The people at New Yorker magazine need to look up the definition of satire. This cover is nothing but pure hatred. Brenda in Dallas, Texas, the educated, loyal reader of the New Yorker, understands the satirical imagery of the Obama cover. Sadly, the uneducated and the elderly that read forward and believe the smear emails will take the cartoon as an illustration of truth and evidence to support their vote for McCain. The New Yorker will benefit from the publicity. They'll sell more magazines. The New Yorker readers will enjoy a quick, lowbrow chuckle, and then John McCain will be sworn in as the 44th President of the United States. Martis in Atlanta writes, this is awful, not funny at all. When can we expect the cover of John McCain in a wheelchair with Cindy pushing it? I mean, fair is fair. Brandy writes, good old-fashioned satire through and through. How do I know? Because people are fighting about it. The best satire inflames and enrages the viewer, and then after they've blown a fuse, they laugh at the sheer silliness. Seriously, everybody needs to get off their political high horse, have a beer, relax, and laugh. Ben writes, it was a bad choice on their part. A lot of this country isn't very open-minded or even well-read when it comes to politics and the media, so they see this picture and they take it for face value. I'm an Obama supporter, but I'm also for fair play, and this is not fair. They did it for the shock appeal, and they knew exactly what they were doing. Paul in Virginia, move over, Fox News. You've just been outfoxed by the New Yorker. Mel writes, someone at the New Yorker will either get fired or get a raise. And Brock writes, the people who might believe these myths don't read the New Yorker, so not to worry. They're not interested in reading or New York. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty File. Look for yours there among hundreds of others.
All right, Jack, thank you. To our viewers, you're in the Situation Room happening now. A busted bank reopens with federal regulators now in charge. Worried savers are lining up to try to get their money out, but there's a hitch. We're going to find out how safe your savings are right now. A lobbyist caught on tape allegedly offering access to Vice President Cheney and other top Bush administration figures for a price. And a comeback for the Taliban and a setback for U.S. troops. Americans and Afghans paying a heavy price in blood right now. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. Worried customers lining up around the block to pull their money out of the failed IndyMac Bank, which reopened today with a new boss, the U.S. government. A federal agency guarantees most of the deposits, but some fear their life savings could be at risk. So how safe are your savings right now? CNN's Deborah Farrick is standing by with that. But let's go out to Pasadena. CNN's Cara Finstrom is standing by with what's going on. Long lines, people trying to get their money. Cara, tell us what the latest is.
Well, some of these people are not getting all their money back because it was not fully insured, and they're just now finding it out. So a very difficult day for them. We want to give you a quick look here at the hundreds of people, the crowds out here. Some of these people trying to get shelter under these, makeshift structures that they've put up, others under umbrellas. Many of these people have been here for 8 hours now, and all of them want answers. The line started building before sunrise. Customers coming to 33 branches of what was, less than 1 week ago, their bank. Now customers like Nasim Ahmed facing what can only be described as a nightmare, asking FDIC officials, what happened to my money? Ahmed and his family drove from San Francisco overnight. Ahmed had his personal savings and numerous accounts for his business, a clinical research company, at IndyMac. When the doors opened, he was number 4 in line. Ahmed asked question after question. 2.5 hours later, he came out.
I'm surprised, shocked.
Ahmed was told only the first $100,000 in each of his accounts is fully insured. Beyond that amount,
and you will get 50 cents on a dollar. So that's pretty miserable.
Ahmed said he was misled by IndyMac officials who had assured him he had structured his savings in different accounts that would be safe. He may take a huge hit.
This is going to hurt me, but I will try to recover, stand again, and try to do business as usual. But from now, I will be better, more cautious.
Ahmed says he plans to fight for more of his money. But for now, he and his family are heading straight back to San Francisco.
I never dreamed of this one. I don't know. It's like a disaster to me.
He says they can't afford to miss another day of work. And CNN has tried to contact bank officials with the former IndyMac, but those calls have not yet been returned.
What a story, Cara. Stay on top of it for us. Thanks very much. So here's the question. How safe is your money? Let's go to Deborah Farrick. She's watching this part of the story. There are a lot of nervous Americans out there. They have money, their savings, life savings for a lot of them, millions of them in various banks. And I'll ask the question to you, what should they be doing? What's going on?
Well, you know, if a lot of people find comfort having their money in one bank, but really after what happened to IndyMac, many are realizing they may have just dodged a bullet.
It wasn't just IndyMac customers thinking about their money. Other people, too, were wondering if their bank accounts elsewhere might also be at risk.
A bank failure is a wake-up call to anyone that has more money on deposit in a bank than is covered by FDIC insurance. Having that money deposited and not being fully protected is like driving around town without your seatbelt on.
Money experts say as long as your money is insured, $100,000 in an individual bank account, $250,000 in an IRA, there's no need to withdraw it, even if the bank is failing, because pulling it out creates other problems.
Banks don't keep all this money stuck in the vault in the bank. It causes a liquidity crisis.
The FDIC took over IndyMac in part to make sure the troubled mortgage lender would not take steps that could trigger even greater economic instability.
A bank will try to right itself, and sometimes what that means is that a bank can sell off assets which are very valuable, which end up resulting in a greater loss to the FDIC than otherwise would be the case.
The FDIC says only a small percentage of the 90 banks currently considered at risk will actually fail.
At the end of the day, there'll be some bank failures, but very few.
And with $50 billion in its insurance fund, FDIC's Chief Operating Officer John Bavenzi says that's more than enough to cover whatever might come. The bottom line, given the severe housing correction, a small percentage of banks will likely fail. But as a consumer, as long as your money is on deposit that is fully protected by the FDIC insurance, if the bank fails, then it's really the bank's problem, not yours. But if you do pull it out, make sure your new bank is financially sound. You can go to the website, fdic.gov, and to a section called Bank Find and make sure that the bank is insured. No point pulling it out of one just to put it into another that might be at risk.
Excellent advice, Deb. Deb Farrick reporting for us. We're going to have more on the story coming up, but let's move on. A newspaper's sting leads to some stunning videotape. A lobbyist allegedly offering access to Vice President Cheney, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and other top Bush administration officials for a price, a steep price. Let's go live to our White House correspondent, Ed Henry. He's working the story for us. Ed, what's going on this story? Explain.
Well, Wolf, the White House is basically denying that they knew any of this was going on. They essentially say that the lobbyist involved, Stephen Payne, was acting alone, and Payne himself is in full spin mode, essentially telling CNN it was all a big misunderstanding.
Promises of access to the president's top aides in exchange for contributions to the George W. Bush Library and some cold hard cash on the side for the man brokering the deal. The whole discussion caught on tape.
A couple of I think that would probably get the attention of people raising money.
That's Texas lobbyist and Bush fundraiser Stephen Payne, unwitting star of this shocking video, secretly recorded by the Times of London. Here, he tried to get a donation from a man whom he thought was representing the exiled former president of Kyrgyzstan. Payne, who raised $200,000 for the president's re-election, is seen promising meetings with top officials, including Vice President Cheney. In exchange, big money for the future Bush Library.
Cheney's possible, only the National Security Advisor, definitely either Dr. Rice or...
The White House distanced itself from Payne's actions and suggested he's not an insider.
There's categorically no link between any official business and the Bush Library. Steve Payne was never an employee of the White House, but we do use hundreds of volunteers a year, as you know, for helping us do advance work.
The White House admits Payne helped with logistics on some foreign trips. And Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff did appoint Payne to an advisory committee. In a long written statement to CNN, Payne, president of Worldwide Strategic Partners in Houston, called the Times of London story gotcha journalism. Payne acknowledged mentioning that they might be able to make donations to think tanks, foundations, and/or President Bush's library. But Payne stressed that in subsequent emails, which he gave to CNN, he made clear there could be no quid pro quo. In one of those emails, Payne wrote he would accept the $250 and pass it directly to the library, but noted he could not promise specific government action because that would be bribery.
Now, the key question, did Stephen Payne get any meetings for his clients here at the White House? Dana Perino said she was not sure, so I asked her whether the White House would release visitor logs to find out whether Stephen Payne has been here at the White House a lot. She said she'd check with White House lawyers, but noted there's been litigation in other matters dealing with visitor logs, so bottom line, it's highly unlikely the White House will ever release those records, Wolf.
Ed Henry with an amazing story. Thanks very much. Let's go back to Jack Cafferty. He's got the Cafferty file. Gotcha journalism, that's what he called it.
Well, a quid pro quo. They don't even, that's the meaning of 90% of the transactions that take place inside the Beltway. There ain't nothing for nothing down there. And of course we'll never know because the White House doesn't release anything. Because they can get away with it, because nobody in Congress cares, and they won't force them to release this stuff by throwing people who refuse to answer subpoenas in jail. But that's another topic for another day. Former President Bill Clinton has a warning for all of us. He says the country is becoming more and more divided. He spoke to the National Governors Association. He said even though the Democratic primary produced historic results, with the final two candidates being a woman, his wife, and an African-American man, he sees a larger problem. President Clinton thinks Americans are becoming more polarized as a nation. He says we're growing farther apart from each other and are, quote, hunkering down in communities of like-mindedness, and it affects our ability to manage difference, unquote. Clinton says Americans are separating themselves by choosing to live with people they agree with. He used ideas from a book called The Big Sort by Bill Bishop for this speech to the Governors Association. Bishop found that in 1976, 20% of U.S. counties voted for Jimmy Carter or President Ford by more than a 20% margin, just 20%. By 2004, nearly 50% of the nation's counties voted for John Kerry or President Bush by that same margin. President Clinton reminded governors that the issues they're dealing with today are similar to those confronted by Teddy Roosevelt a century ago. Inequality among the rich and poor, immigration, energy. But Clinton says he's determined that we will deal with these issues and eventually enter a period of light, not darkness. So here's the question. Do you agree with President Clinton that America is becoming more divided? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file. You can post a comment on my blog. Karl Rove refused to answer a subpoena the other day. Did anybody do anything about it?
Well, not yet.
No.
The answer is not yet.
Let's all hold our breath.
Yeah. All right, Jack, see you in a few moments. Yeah. The cartoon that has lots of people talking, but not everyone is laughing. Does the New Yorker cover depicting the Obamas as terrorists cross the line? And Obama's plan for Iraq. We'll talk about all of that with our political contributors, James Carville and Bill Bennett. They're standing by live. Also, banks going under, a mortgage meltdown. The New York Mayor, Michael Bloomberg, tells us what he would do to try to solve the nation's financial crisis. He's deeply worried also about poverty in America. Plus, another near disaster at a major U.S. airport. What's being done about it? Stay with us. You're in The Situation.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
Oh, this is interesting.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Greg.
I think we have a little competition. What do you say we move forward with that new data center like we did with the LA office?
Sure, Greg. We can customize your blade servers with the same software and security we discussed yesterday.
Right, so I just plug in and I'm good to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I call that? Sweet.
Turning new technology into your technology. CDW is there with the customized solutions you need.
Oh, look at this. Bring it on.
Saturday and Sunday night, CNN and Essence Magazine present Soledad O'Brien with Black Leaders. This is about innovation.
We have got to find our voice.
About personal responsibility. The problems, the solutions, reclaiming the dream. CNN, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
CNN, Soledad O'Brien, a year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
I learned a lot when I found out I had high cholesterol, but I didn't know that it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. That's why my doctor told me about Levitra.
Certain medical conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, can decrease blood flow, which may lead to ED.
That was news to me. My doctor told me Levitra could help.
Levitra works by increasing blood flow to help treat ED.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems, are on alpha blocker therapy, or have uncontrolled high blood pressure, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss of vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away. Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
Tasteless and offensive, or satire and caricature? There's a huge buzz underway right now about the new cover of the New Yorker magazine featuring a very controversial rendering of Barack and Michelle Obama. Let's discuss this and more with our CNN political contributor, the Democratic strategist James Carville, and our CNN political contributor Bill Bennett, host of the conservative national radio talk show Morning in America. He's also a fellow at the Claremont Institute. James, what do you think of this cover?
Well, I think that the New Yorker has a long and illustrious history of visual satire. My daughter got my wife for Mother's Day a book of New Yorker cartoons on mothers. I hadn't seen anybody standing there tagging mothers. It also has a long and distinguished history of outstanding journalism. Its editor, David Remnick, is an outstanding guy. He's written a bio of Muhammad Ali, knows more about the collapse of the Soviet Union than probably anybody around. And for the life of me, this is satire in its ultimate form. And I don't know what the big deal is. Just like it seems to be in this election cycle that when you can't question John McCain to say his fighter pilot is a qualification to be president without being accused of anti-patriotic, or you can't use satire. Doesn't mean you're intolerant. I think it's fine.
What do you think, Bill?
We're flipping roles here. I'm on the Obama campaign side. By the way, the notion that we all live in, with people who are just like us, go on record. I live in Chevy Chase, Maryland, one of the most liberal communities in the most liberal county in the state of Maryland, Montgomery County. So I live with people of other points of view, even in my house sometimes. But the New Yorker blew this. Yes, distinguished history, great writing. I read the New Yorker occasionally, but it was tasteless and it was stupid. And the intellectuals missed it, I remember one time in college, the honors philosophy majors put on a one-act play. They thought it was hilarious. When everybody else saw it, no one laughed. The intellectuals were playing a big joke, but not enough people got it. This was just too clever by half, and it backfired on them. And if I were the Obama campaign, I would be furious at these people.
I wouldn't. I respectfully disagree. I think this is an outstanding magazine. It uses satire. It's used it very effectively in the past. Anybody that read the magazine knows what it is, and if you had anybody could see what the point that they were trying to make. And if you're not provocative, and every time that somebody gets provocative in this campaign is people go overboard. I just think we're making a big error here. I really do.
Well, it's provocative with the wrong point. It was to caricature or satirize conservatives, but there are no respectable conservatives who've said or written or caricatured like this. They're really making fun of a straw man. But in doing it, in creating these pictures, They created something that winced, that made people wince. Obama supporters wince. That's not good caricature. That's not good satire.
I think there was enough halfway to make this good satire. The conservatives have been pretty relentless in attacking Senator Obama's wife, and they certainly have discussed his patriotism.
Not
or
about AK-47s. Nobody's suggested he's burning flags,
Secretary,
James. This
but
is
Secretary,
crazy.
it's satire. The nature of satire is some exaggeration, and, I think that I think that's an outstanding magazine.
Let's move on. Let's move on to another issue. Some call it issue number 2. That would be the war in Iraq right now. Barack Obama had an op-ed in the New York Times. Among other things, he wrote today, "We can safely redeploy our combat brigades at a pace that would remove them in 16 months. That would be the summer of 2010, 2 years from now, and more than 7 years after the war began." You see any changes, James, in Barack Obama's stance on a withdrawal from Iraq?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's facing a deteriorating situation in Afghanistan. The situation in Iraq has proved somewhat. We're going to be 6 years and $3 trillion in this war. For my taste, mid-2010 might be a mite slow for me, but I guess, he's going to Iraq now, and let's see what he says when he comes back. But, things in the world change, and I don't know how to explain this, but we run a little short on money here. We better think of something different.
He's going to Iraq, Bill, as you know, to be General Petraeus and General Odierno, the new incoming commander of U.S. forces in Iraq. You see any change in his position?
Well, sure. As James says, things in the world change. Nothing changes quite as much as Barack Obama's mind. Summer of 10. Previously, he said March of 08. That was this year. Then at one point he said right away. Then he said he was refining his views. He clearly does not know his mind because he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to this. He's kind of helpless on this. Claire McCaskill, his national chairman, said yesterday on the Stephanopoulos show that it's irresponsible for a commander-in-chief to declare any date certain. So he should just back off this, get over to Iraq, find out something first, and then make some
She was actually on Meet the Press, just to correct the record.
I only watched CNN.
All right, go ahead, James.
He could flip-flop from now to the end of the century, couldn't catch McCain, and whatever Claire McCaskill said, it wasn't quite as profound as Phil Graham, his national chairman, said.
Oh, but this is about Iraq.
James, let me just be serious for a second. James, what's wrong if he goes to Iraq, speaks with the commanders, gets a full briefing, and he comes back and says, you know what, I am going to revise or refine my position a little bit. What would be wrong with that?
Nothing. Jackie Fisher, the great British admiral, basically said consistency is the stuff of fools. So if anybody can refine a position, he goes over there. I ought to go with the sort of view that my mother told me, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And I'm not precisely go back and you say this and you didn't do that or something like that. But I think the sooner that we can start redeploying people and the sooner that we can, start saving, saving a little bit, the better off we are.
Very quickly, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, well, maybe his fifth change of mind will be the right one, but he is able to talk about the removal of troops early because of the success of the surge, which John McCain was strongly in favor of and Barack Obama strongly opposed.
And he's been aided in recent days by the Iraqi government itself of Nouri al-Maliki saying they actually do want a timetable for U.S. troops to start pulling out. All right, guys, stand by.
You.
We're going to continue this in the days and weeks to come.
Okay. Thank you.
Some say it's proof of the Taliban's brutality. A videotape just released that shows what's happening in Afghanistan. It underlines why the American military right now is so deeply concerned. And a major plan by the mayor of New York that could impact millions of people. Michael Bloomberg at the NAACP convention. He's standing by to join us live. And there are new developments in the search for a missing billionaire. Stay with us. You're in The Situation.
Beauty. It unfolds in every lover's dream. Sandals in St. Lucia. Simply beautiful. From the villas high on Ocean Bluff to the turquoise waters of paradise, where emerald fairways make way to alabaster beaches, and enchanting pleasures invite endless romance. At 3 luxury-included resorts, discover the beauty of St. Lucia at Sandals.
Between the idea and the achievement, between good intentions and positive action, there is one important word: how. And it is the how that makes all the difference to the places we call home.
Nice flight, Captain.
When this 250-ton aircraft touches down at 155 miles per hour, I know what I can rely on. These tires. For a smooth and safe landing.
Bridgestone tires in aviation.
Bridgestone.
Who says Gordon Smith helped lead the fight for better gas mileage and a cleaner environment? Barack Obama. He joined with Gordon and broke through a 20-year deadlock to pass new laws which increase gas mileage for automobiles. Governor Ted Kulongoski praised their bipartisan partnership on this critical issue. Gordon Smith, bipartisan leadership for energy independence.
I'm Gordon Smith, and I approve working together across party lines. And this ad.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Jesse Ventura's big announcement. Larry King, CNN Tonight.
Carol Costello is monitoring some other important stories incoming to the Situation Room right now. Carol, what's going on?
Well, a new search is underway for missing billionaire and adventurer Steve Fawcett. A team of highly trained athletes and expert mountaineers are combing a remote area along the California-Nevada border. That's where Fawcett's small plane is believed to have crashed last September. He was declared legally dead in February after multiple searches failed to turn up his remains. Russia's Navy is going on Arctic patrol again for the first time since the end of the Soviet Union. It's deploying a submarine destroyer and a missile cruiser starting on Thursday. A naval spokesman says it's not an aggressive move, just national security. But Russia is aggressively pursuing natural resources in the Arctic, staking a claim on oil and gas reserves. A who's who of Mideast leaders in Paris for Bastille Day celebrations. And what some call a diplomatic coup, French President Nicolas Sarkozy got Syrian President Bashar Assad and Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert to attend, along with Palestinian and Lebanese presidents. But Assad reportedly refused to shake Olmert's hand. Let's look at the headlines right now, Wolf.
One of these days they hopefully will. That would be an encouraging sign.
Yes.
Not holding my breath, though.
No.
Okay. Carol, thank you. A deadly attack on U.S. forces raising new questions about the war in Afghanistan. And military families and funeral coverage. They speak out about the firing of a cemetery official. And another near disaster at a major airport. What's being done about it? Stay with us. You're in the Situation.
Around the world. Brought to you by Hilton Garden Inn Hotels. When tomorrow's a big day, stay HGI tonight.
Tomorrow's a big day. It's the reason you kissed the kids and got in the cab this morning. It's why they invented energy drinks. It's why you joined Toastmasters and floss religiously. Tomorrow's why you haven't eaten dairy or broccoli in a week. If it weren't for tomorrow, those business cards you ordered would seem kind of silly. Tomorrow's big. And at Hilton Garden Inn, we know every big day will go much better with a perfect night before. When tomorrow's a big day, stay HGI tonight.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
And I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
CNN, July 23rd and 24th.
All of America will get a good picture of what it's like to be black in this country.
It amazes me as how far I've come from the old neighborhood.
I'll open up my mouth and people will be like, whoa, you're speaking really well.
There's this perception that if I'm married to a white guy that I maybe behave a certain way.
That we got too many babies daddies and not enough fathers.
We need to tell the whole range of our story.
An unprecedented CNN investigation, Black in America, July 23rd and 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
Closed captioning hours provided by Vonage. For a better way to phone, call 877-4Vonage.
How much can you save on your phone bill with Vonage? Vonage saves you up to $300 a year. Call 877-4Vonage or go online to 4Vonage.com.
This is odd. Hey, Bob, it's Greg. Either my feet are getting bigger or the competition's getting a little close. Let's discuss network security. Call me. Hope you're well.
Hey, Greg. I'm here with your network and security specialist.
Greg, there are security updates for all your offices and some new features you'll like.
Perfect. Thanks, you guys.
With experienced technology specialists certified in everything from storage to security, CDW is there.
So you understand your feet aren't growing.
That's pretty good.
They say a man should always dress for the job he wants. So why am I dressed up like a pirate in this restaurant? It's all because some hacker stole my identity. Now I'm in here every evening serving chowder and iced tea. Should have gone to freecreditreport.com. I could have seen this coming at me like an atom bomb. They monitor your credit and send you email alerts, so you don't end up selling fish to tourists in t-shirts.
Offer applies with enrollment and Triple Advantage.
To our viewers here in the Situation Room, happening now, President Bush is lifting the executive ban on new offshore oil drilling put in place by his dad. But the move is purely symbolic unless Congress lifts its ban, unlikely under the current Democratic control. Also, the ACLU says the government's terror watch list will soon have 1 million names on it, many of them in error. It's calling for the list to be reformed. An FBI spokesman says the agency is working on it. And one Hawaiian city is considering a new export. It's trash. Landfill space is quickly filling up, so Honolulu is weighing a plan to ship some of its nearly 2 million tons of annual garbage to the West Coast. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. A mass attack by insurgents and a bloody setback for U.S. forces in Afghanistan. American troops hold their ground, but this battle is raising new questions about the state of the mission in Afghanistan. Let's turn to our Pentagon correspondent, Barbara Starr. She's working the story for us. Barbara, we know it's bad, but how bad is it getting?
Well, Wolf, consider this. There are 65,000 U.S. and NATO troops in Afghanistan, and still it is not enough. It's the latest sign of Taliban brutality. The Associated Press distributed video of what it says are 2 women abducted by Taliban gunmen and executed for allegedly being prostitutes. Gunshots and screams caught on tape. The incident could not be independently verified by CNN. This, as U.S. forces suffered the deadliest attack in Afghanistan in 3 years. U.S. officials say 200 insurgents firing small arms, machine guns, rockets, and mortars, launched a well-planned assault on a U.S. and Afghan combat outpost in the Kunar province alongside the Pakistan border, killing 9 American troops.
It is quite common for them to attack our combat outposts, but this was a larger scale attack than normal.
U.S. officials say insurgents overran an observation platform outside the base. Most of the U.S. troops were killed there. The fighting described as absolutely brutal. Senior U.S. military officials say the deteriorating situation is due to the lack of security on the Pakistan border. Militants are crossing into Afghanistan, sometimes at will, from Pakistan's tribal area.
What it really speaks to is that that's a safe haven that's got to be eliminated for all insurgents, not just Al-Qaeda.
U.S. commanders are now asking the Pentagon to send as many as 1,000 more MRAP armored vehicles to Afghanistan. That would double the number there now. They have proven highly effective in Iraq, and commanders in Afghanistan want more troops, perhaps as many as 10,000 more. And Wolf, a senior U.S. military official, tells CNN that the Taliban, the insurgent fighters they are now seeing in the last several weeks, many of them are better trained, better equipped, and carrying out more sophisticated attacks than the U.S. anticipated. Wolf.
This is a really, really serious problem underway. You'll stay on top of it for us. Barbara Starrs at the Pentagon. Now to a follow-up to something we first reported last week. Pentagon officials have been defending their tight restrictions on media coverage of military funerals at the Arlington National Cemetery, citing the need to protect grieving families. Let's bring in our senior Pentagon correspondent, Jamie McIntyre. He's working the story for us. You're getting a different analysis, a different sense from many of these grieving families.
Well, that's right, Wolf. Pentagon officials last Friday dismissed the complaints of a whistleblower, saying they had no complaints about the policy, but it took only one phone call for CNN to find out that's not quite the case.
The three-volley salute and the plaintive wail of taps was all that television microphones from NBC could hear last summer as Army Specialist Christopher Nyberger was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. It was a disappointment to Nyberger's older sister.
I was surprised when I looked at the footage from NBC and there was no sound. We do not want cameras in our faces. We do not want to be exploited. At the same time, we have a story to tell about our loved one, and we want their story told.
The Army is considering easing rules that keep news crews at Arlington as far as 50 yards away from funerals, but only after the cemetery's former public relations director, who was fired, went public with her complaints.
And I was told it's the law. It's the law. So I went back and looked. There's no law that says the media has got to stand so far back away from a funeral. It's a personal for me. I know these people. I know people that are buried there.
Amy Nyberger Miller is also a public affairs professional and works for TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors.
Gina Gray says, bottom line is the families ought to be able to decide. Do you think she's right?
Absolutely, I think she's right.
Not every family wants media coverage, but for Amy, who wears her brother's dog tags, it's one more way to ensure he's not forgotten.
This is one that I had made with his picture on it.
The Army is looking at this, and frankly, the problem is not that hard to solve. Advocates say families should be fully informed of their options, and then all it will take is some common sense and some common courtesy.
That's what's necessary. It's only the right thing to do. Jamie, thanks for that report. Close calls at New York's Kennedy Airport. Federal authorities are quickly moving to try to make some major changes, but will they keep all of us safe? And for the second year in a row, Miss USA finds it tough to walk and smile at the same time. CNN's Jeannie Most finds that most unusual. Stay with us. You're in The Situation.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans, so I could understand it all. After I called, I was able to choose the plan that was right for me.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you from paying thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. These are the only Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit with all you need to enroll, so you can join the millions of people who've already trusted us for their Medicare supplement insurance. Plus, we'll send you this free guide to understanding Medicare.
The prices are competitive. I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call now to get the free information kit. Plus, we'll include this free Medicare guide. And the advantages don't end there. You can choose from a wide range of plans that are all competitively priced, so you can find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. There are virtually no claim forms to fill out. And best of all, they're the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP.
When they told me these plans were endorsed by AARP,
I had only one thing to say. Sign me up.
Call now, 1-800-495-9137, and let us help you choose the right plan. So call now, 1-800-495-9137, and find out about an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting for your call.
Larry King tonight. Jesse Ventura exclusive. Will he run for the U.S. Senate or not? He's made his decision and announces it first and only on Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
Every American is an independent thinker. Get the facts from the only news channel to give you all sides. Get the facts. Demand the truth. We do. You do too. Declare your independence. Only CNN equals politics.
We're learning about another near disaster at one of the country's busiest airports, and the government is moving quickly in reaction. Let's go to Mary Snow. She's in New York working the story for us. Mary, what's the latest?
Well, Wolf, the government put new procedures in place at New York's JFK airport within hours Friday after two planes came very close to one another. Now, today, the FAA announced other measures to improve runway safety across the nation as it investigates what happened at JFK.
It's believed to be the first time the Federal Aviation Administration has stepped in to change the way planes take off from and land on JFK's perpendicular runways, spacing them out. The action came Friday after the second incident to cause alarm in 1 week. The FAA says a Delta flight missed its landing approach and had to go around a Comair flight taking off. Steve Abraham of the Air Traffic Controllers Union describes what he saw.
And the 13 right departure comes off in this direction climbing, and what's supposed to happen is the 22 left arrival is supposed to land. The 22 left arrival didn't land, and he's back up in the air, pointed at the 13 right departure. And what the controller did was turn them this way, away from each other.
6 days earlier, the FAA says a Cayman Airlines flight that was landing had to go around a departing LAN Chile flight.
To just maintain 1,000, please. I need a left turn, a quick left turn, heading 09 to now, traffic on departure roll.
That's as close as I ever want to see airplanes get.
The FAA insists they were not near collisions, but says they are under investigation.
The system is built to take care of these kinds of events. In this particular case, we just want to take a look at it a little more closely.
Critics have also targeted the FAA for placing young air traffic controllers at busy airports, saying experience is key. The FAA's acting administrator defended the hirings.
We have 20-year-olds fighting the war. We have 20-year-old police officers. We have 20-year-old firemen. We can certainly have a 20-year-old air traffic controller.
One former NTSB investigator wonders just how widespread the problem is.
Is there really a systemic problem with the policies and procedures and the controllers and the way they operate at JFK? That's going to be a huge issue that the FAA and the NTSB need to determine.
Now, the FAA said today it's expanding using a runway light system in 20 of the country's busiest airports, and that includes JFK. These lights let pilots know when runways are clear. I spoke with the president of the Airline Pilots Association, who says his union has asked for those lights for a decade, and he wants to see them in 80 of the nation's airports, not 20. Wolf?
What is the FAA, Mary, saying about the New York Post headline that suggests the FAA is actually hiring teens as air traffic controllers?
Yeah, it was a front page story with the headline Kids in Control, and the FAA is saying today it defended hiring young people, saying that it was always the case that air traffic controllers only needed high school diplomas, saying that it does advertise online for applicants, and it's saying that it's very hard to retain veterans in cities like New York because of the cost of living. But the Air Traffic Controllers Union is saying that the FAA is desperate, and that is why it's doing this.
All right, Mary. Mary's watching this important story, and as Mary just reported, 20 airports are slated for enhanced lighting systems. The list includes many of the country's and the world's busiest airports, including Los Angeles International, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, Atlanta, Washington, Dulles, Chicago's O'Hare, and all three major New York area getaways. That's important information. A run on a major bank sparking new concern about the country's growing financial crisis. The New York City mayor, Michael Bloomberg, will offer us some advice. We'll also talk about poverty in America. And soldiers with criminal backgrounds convicted of crimes in Iraq. It's no longer an isolated problem. We'll be right back.
I love my kids, and I want to give them a great future. That's why I'm proud to be a part of Valero, giving America the energy it needs. We believe in excellence, in safety and caring for the environment, as well as making cleaner burning fuels. And we're expanding our refinery in St. Charles, Louisiana, to provide even more fuel for future generations. It'll help people get to work and play wherever they need to go. At Valero, we're providing the energy to keep America moving.
Larry King Wednesday night, Venus Williams, her first exclusive interview, the Wimbledon champ on her win over sister Serena. Larry King Live, CNN Wednesday night, 90.
The power to go anywhere may not be enough to survive.
You think you could go on like this forever?
Order Jumper tonight. They say you can never go home again.
It's gonna be a long weekend.
Find out with Martin Lawrence and Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins.
He started it.
Hit movies without the trip to the video store. On demand with Comcast Digital Cable.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Deutsch, and I'm here to tell you, yes, you can do something about your IRS tax problem, and yes, you can get help to fight the IRS.
Ronnie saved me $150,000.
Ronnie saved us over $500,000.
Saved me $250,000.
And yes, you can call me right now.
If you owe the IRS, call Ronnie right now for your free and confidential tax analysis. Call 800-516-8078. 800-516-8078.
After years of trying to interact with your TV,
Get him! No! What are you thinking?
it's time your TV responded. With Searchlight, it can. For information on just about anything, select Searchlight from your on-demand menu.
Yes! Thank you!
Searchlight. Demand more from your TV. For an inside look at the newest GM makes and models, press 889 on your Comcast remote to access the GM showroom.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night.
And in Boise.
And Boise. And Birmingham. Beautiful night here in Chicago.
And in Charlotte. And Chattanooga.
The Yankees take the field in New York.
And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-COMCAST to order now.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
CNN and Essence Magazine present Soledad O'Brien with Black Leaders, the Problems, the Solutions, Reclaiming the Dream. CNN, Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
One big bank fails, others are floundering, stock markets keep plunging. Let's discuss this and more, including the state of poverty in our country. Joining us now is the mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
How worried should people who have their life savings in regular banks be right now?
Well, I think regular banks are fine. The federal government will guarantee the savings. We have a number of programs that came out of the bank failures and the Depression, and you should not have to worry about if you have money on deposit in a regular bank that you'll be able to get your money out. You will be able to. That money is perfectly safe.
That's if it's under $100,000, which is guaranteed by the FDIC.
That's correct. But I think the bigger banks, the federal government's not going to let the banking system fall apart here. I think that is clear. In terms of investments you may have in the stock market, I think, is just reflecting the fact that in this country, we have not been willing to face the real problems. If you think about it, we are trying to commit mass suicide by keeping those who would come here and create jobs from coming into America. People around the world want to come here and work and create jobs and invest here and help our science. And in fact, we're driving these people out of this country and sending the jobs of tomorrow overseas. So that's one of the big problems. And the stock market reflects that. The stock market reflects, well, there's a few...
I was going to say, what else would you do in addition to allowing the illegal immigrants, for example, to become have a pathway to citizenship or whatever. What else would you do if you could to try to fix this economic mess?
You have to do a few things. One, when it comes to immigration, we have 12 million people here. We're not going to deport them. Let's get serious about that. We were complicit in them getting here. They may have broken the law, but we can't get rid of them, and we don't want to get rid of them. And we've got to move on from talking about that again and again. We've got to attract the best and the brightest from around the world to come here. And that means giving visas to those who want to open businesses here and who want to study here and want to bring all of their skills here. But that's just one thing. Congress has been spending money we don't have. That's hurting. We have an energy policy that's driving up the cost of food dramatically around the world, including here. And that's terrible for our economies because while the economy is slowing down, we're also having inflation. So the Fed really doesn't know what to do. They get whipsawed no matter what they do. And we've been unable to face the issue of energy dependence on foreign sources. And what we're doing here, along with the problems in health care that every time you turn around, Congress walks away from facing, there's this massive transfer of wealth from the Western world to the third world to many countries that hate America, and massive transfer of wealth in the United States from young to old as we don't focus on who's going to pay for health care. And you start to see these things reflected in the market.
You made a major presentation before the NAACP on how we define the poverty level in our country. And your bottom line, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there are a lot more people below the poverty line than the federal government right now clearly acknowledges.
Well, what we're trying to do is, number one, I didn't get out to Cincinnati to make the speech. I got held up by the weather, but Linda Gibbs, my deputy mayor, gave the speech. I think what we try to do is to come up with a measure of poverty that will tell us about who is here and what they're doing and what they need. You know, unless you understand the real problem, you have real numbers. You can't help fix it. You can't help people and you can't fix problems. And the old measures of poverty centered around the cost of food when food was, let's say, a third of the budget. Today, food's an eighth of most people's budget. It did not include cost of health care. It did not include cost of child care. It did not include differences in rent between one part of the country and another. And at the other side, it didn't give all of us, you and me, and the taxpayers, credit for the things that we have to help the poor. There's the Earned Income Tax Credit, there's food stamps, there's temporary assistance to needy families, there's Section 8 vouchers. So it just wasn't a good measure, and we've tried to make the measure make sense. And then the numbers are what they are. Whether higher or lower, at least they better reflect what's really going on in the economy.
And whatever they are, they're way, way too high for a rich country like ours to have so many people living in poverty.
Well, I'll give you a number that's really scary. 1/3 of the people of the families with at least one working full-time member of their family is below the poverty line. These are people who set the alarm clock and punch the time clock, and they just can't make enough money to make ends meet. And the only ways we're going to fix that problem is through better education and bringing the kind of jobs here that justify high wages. You can't stop business from going to where the low wages are. But if we want to have high wages for the people of America, we've got to have the jobs where we're the value-added kinds of jobs. And instead, we're driving those out of this country.
I can see how passionate you are on this issue and a lot of other issues right now. Who do you think would do a better job in dealing with this issue? Would it be Barack Obama or John McCain?
Well, I think that's for the public to decide. But keep in mind,
what do you think? What do you think?
Well, regardless of the one that I will vote for, the fact of the matter is it is Congress that passes most of these laws. It's Congress that is so divided based on party and partisanship that they're unwilling to face the tough issues. They're afraid of the voters, and the voters are crying out for leadership. And I hope that the two candidates, the Republican and Democrat, Obama and McCain, that they are willing to stand up over the next 4 or 5 months until November and say explicitly what they would do and how they would get Congress to go along and how they would pay for it. Because this magic bullet that God will provide, God helps those who help themselves, and science is not going to bail us out of the environmental problems we have. We've got to do that ourselves. There's no magic thing that's going to bring the economy back quickly. We have gone through a dozen years of great markets. We're going to go through a period here of some very trying times. The housing crisis is nowhere near over. Public confidence has been debased. We have inflation. We have people pulling their reins in and being afraid to make investments, and it's going to take time to work through that. and we need leadership in this country.
A direct challenge to both of these candidates from the mayor of New York. Mayor Bloomberg, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it very much. Convicted of serious crimes. We're going to get to that story in a moment, but the online effort to save an all-American beer from foreign ownership. We have new details. Stay with us.
Closed captioning hours provided by Eggland's Best Eggs. Better taste, better nutrition.
Eggland's Best Eggs. Better taste, better nutrition, and better variety. The better egg.
You know, you gotta love what Hertz is doing with this green collection.
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you.
With EPA-certified high fuel efficiency vehicles, how can they go wrong? Look at this guy.
Well, this Toyota Prius hybrid is sure getting attention.
It's not polite to stare. Roll up the window.
Keep moving. Who do they think they are?
Reserve a car from the Hertz Green Collection, like the Toyota Prius Hybrid. It's another way Hertz puts you in the driver's seat.
Well, you think he never saw a Prius before.
People.
I know.
There's an ugly, noisy, and inefficient problem that has plagued homeowners for years. The window air conditioning unit. Luckily, there's a solution. The Mr. Slim brand cooling and heating system from Mitsubishi Electric Advanced Products. A Mr. Slim won't block your views. And it's amazingly quiet. With Mitsubishi's inverter technology, you can save over 30% on energy versus the standard window unit. So you'll stay cool and comfortable while saving money on your electric bills. There's no ductwork, so Mr. Slim installs easily with a 3-inch opening connecting the indoor and outdoor units. And some systems can cool and heat up to 4 rooms. Make your home more livable and more valuable with ductless cooling and heating systems from Mitsubishi Electric.
For more information, call 888-941-SLIM or visit MrSlim.com/TV. Ask your Mitsubishi contractor about a buy now, pay later plan.
License, registration, and insurance.
Something wrong, officer?
And your AARP card.
Yeah, here you go. Is there a problem?
Sure is. You belong to AARP, but you don't have their auto insurance from the Hartford. With this insurance, you're spending way too much.
Oh, but I'm already getting a good deal from my insurance company.
Is there a program designed for drivers age 50 and over?
Somebody does that?
Yep, AARP. Their auto insurance program could save you money and give you benefits you'll rarely find anywhere else. If I were you, I'd call them now.
Millions of AARP members have already called about the AARP auto insurance program. They're saving $350 when they switch, and you can too. Just call this number now and ask for your free rate quote. You'll enjoy special benefits created exclusively for AARP members. Not an AARP member? Not a problem. Give us a call.
Call 1-800-556-5701. You'll also get this free calculator. Call now.
Let's get back to Jack Cafferty for the Cafferty File. Jack.
Wolf, the former president, Bill Clinton, gave a speech to some of the nation's governors the other day, in which he suggested that our country is becoming more and more divided. We wanted to know how you felt about that. David writes from Florida, let's see, 85% of the people think we're on the wrong track. McSane wants to stay on the wrong track. Obama wants to change direction. Yet the polls are still saying both candidates are in a dead heat, just as they have been for 8 years. Either the pointer on the opinion poll meter's been stuck for 8 years, or we are terminally divided. Bob in Virginia, I believe he's correct. By the way, did he mention how he and his wife contributed to and tried to use this divisiveness to their advantage with their comments during the Democratic primaries? Kay writes, absolutely, we are more divided, and as they say, everything comes from the top. The Bush administration's always emphasized the with us or against us stance. An 8-year diet of divisiveness, division has left us here. Republican or Democrat, Christian or Muslim, have or have not, and sadly, we are now all watchful and careful. Sherry writes, I don't feel we're any more divided. That's because Obama won in Iowa. As a black American, that surprised me and everybody I know, and it opened our eyes that America is open for a change in the form of either a woman or a black man. GC writes, life is filled with stress. Home, family, friends relieve that stress. I find nothing wrong with living in communities of people with similar values to yours. Rich and poor folk alike and those in between have been doing this for decades. We're not more divided, it's just more in the forefront. And Deborah in Indiana writes, yes, we are more divided. What's worse, we can't agree to disagree or listen to one another's point of view anymore. We've lost our ability to listen to someone's ideas, think about them, and then discuss that opinion rationally. Everybody has this notion that it's my way or the highway. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty file. Look for yours there among hundreds of others. Knock yourself out.
People will do that, Jack. See you in a few moments. The Belgian brewer InBev announced it will buy the U.S. beer company Anheuser-Busch for $52 billion, creating the world's largest brewer. And that has many people online upset, causing some to actually take action. Let's bring in Abby once again. What are these people doing? How are they reacting online?
Well, if they're saying this isn't just beer, this is an American icon. There's been a web-based campaign in St. Louis with more than 70,000 signatures against this merger, and there's been new sites popping up, smaller sites, in the last 24 hours calling for a boycott. And there's a St. Louis-based songwriter, Phil McClary, who has put all their feelings to music.
All you hard-working Americans, stand up, show some class, and have a drink with Mother Freedom, and tell InBev to kiss your glass.
That's Phil McClary, who says there's not a lot the little people can do, but last night he put down his Bud Light, and he says it's going to be a few months before he thinks he can drink another. InBev CEO assured people today that nothing will change, saying Budweiser will be brewed in the same breweries by the same people according to the same recipe. Wolf?
Abby watching the story for us. Thanks. John McCain is telling Hispanics he's earned their trust. Let's bring in Lou Dobbs. He's watching this story for us. He spoke at the National Council of La Raza today. He actually made the case that he's better as far as comprehensive immigration reform than Barack Obama is.
Well, he made the case. He also pointed out he had 75% of the Hispanic vote in his election in the state of Arizona. But, you know, these two pandering to LULAC and now La Raza. I mean, for crying out loud, today we had Senator Obama trying to explain, the man who last week told us all that he wanted our children, wanted to make sure that we were making sure our children were speaking Spanish. He informed us all today that La Raza, the organization he's speaking before, means the people instead of the race. And so we have to give Senator Obama a little linguistics lesson, a little something in Spanish. It's la gente is the people, and La Raza is the race, so he needs to get that straight. He's starting to mess with us with both languages now, English and Spanish, and he only speaks one of them.
And Lou's going to have a lot more coming up on this story, you got to believe, in 1 hour on Lou Dobbs tonight. We'll see you then.
You better believe it. You got it. Thanks, Will.
Thank you. And to our viewers, you're in the Situation Room, happening now.